to impress your holiday guests. From our holiday table to yours, taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center, 3250 West 13th Street. Locally owned and operated. Now you have a friend in the tire business. Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center.
Good Monday morning. Wichita police say one person died following a shooting in southeast Wichita early Saturday morning. Police say two people got into a verbal argument in the 2200 block of South Glendale, and during that fight, shots were fired. One of the people was shot multiple times and later died at the scene. KWCH-TV reports that 28-year-old Aubrey Montez Oliver of Wichita was arrested and booked on suspicion of first-degree murder in connection to that shooting. A 24-year-old man died in a weekend rollover crash in North Sedgwick County. Deputies called out to the scene on North Ridge Road just after midnight Friday night, and upon arrival, they found a vehicle on its roof in the middle of the road. KWCH-TV reports the driver was pronounced dead at the scene. The Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office says the man has been identified as 24-year-old Aaron Dalton Lupo. The cause of that crash remains under investigation. And authorities say the emergency accident reporting plan is in effect for today. I'm Rick Everett. Now sports.
Yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Arizona Cardinals 26-14 in a game that wasn't the Chiefs' best of the season, but a day when the defense showed up with 5 sacks against Arizona, and a record-setting day for Patrick Mahomes, which impressed his head coach.
He comes out every day, he's bringing energy, and he's in a position where he can make everybody better around him, and he's doing that.
In college basketball tonight, Kansas will face Vermont. Meanwhile, Kansas State will take on Denver, a game you can hear on KQAM. From the sports desk, I'm Doug Downs.
You don't put your dirty socks back in the drawer or dirty dishes back in the cupboard, do you? Well, you shouldn't put your dirty lawnmower away for the winter either, especially when Maximum Outdoor Equipment is offering a winter service special, which includes everything your mower needs to be clean, sharpened, ready to go, and ready to mow next spring. As an incentive to get your mower in before the rush, Maximum Outdoor is offering your choice of early bird winter service discounts through December 29th. 25% off on winter service labor or free pickup and delivery within a 25-mile radius. See full details on our winter service specials and the early bird discounts available through December 29th online at MaximumOutdoor.com or give us a call at 316-943-0201. At Maximum Outdoor Equipment, we won't wash your socks or your dishes, but we'd love to clean and service your mower and get it ready for spring. Maximum Outdoor Equipment, just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Maximum service, maximum value, Maximum Outdoor Equipment.
There it is, Black Friday, and I know everybody has a sale.
But at Rusty Eck Ford, our sales are always bigger.
Now through November 30th, get up to 30% off a new Ford Focus. Ford Escape, 25% off, or choose 0% for $72 and $1,000 back. F-150 XLTs up to 25% off, or our exclusive 0 for $72.
So come gobble up the savings at Rusty Eck Ford. If you don't come and see us today, we can't save you any money.
Hi, I'm Shannon Stiles, owner of Legacy Advisors, an all-state insurance company that will protect you and your family and provide you coverage that will fit your insurance needs. So when you go to bed at night, you can rest assured that we have your back. If something unfortunate should ever happen to you or your family, we are a local insurance company right here in Wichita, and we ask that you call us today at 316-773-9864, and we will provide you with a free quote. Come join the Legacy Advisors insurance family today at 316-773-9864. You'll be glad you did.
Plan ahead for a comfortable and safe winter by contacting Propane Central today. They'll conduct a free comprehensive check of your gas system and fill your tank and set you up with the payment and delivery options that meet your needs. Experience worry-free propane only from Propane Central. Give them a call at 316-744-6722. Again, that's 316-744-6722, or visit their website at propanecentral.com. Propane Central, the best value in propane.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM. 31 people have now been confirmed dead in a Northern California wildfire, and another 228 are unaccounted for. 10 search teams have been working in the town of Paradise, largely incinerated, as well as the surrounding communities in the Sierra Nevada foothills. New Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker may be busy in January on Capitol Hill. Democratic Congressman Jerry Nadler is expected to take over as House Judiciary Committee chairman, and he wants Whitaker to recuse himself from the Mueller probe.
Our very first witness after January 3rd, we will subpoena we will summon, if necessary, subpoena Mr. Whitaker.
Nadler on CNN State of the Union. All of Florida's 67 counties have until Thursday to finish recounting votes in the state's races for governor and Senate. In Broward County, home to many Democratic voters, the supervisor of elections says they may miss the deadline to finish, which could cost many Democratic votes. Stock futures are generally flat ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street this morning. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Hatman Jacks. Amazing headwear for women and men. At the Clock Tower in Delano, Hatman Jacks.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. Sunny with a high of only 36, winds gusting near 30 miles an hour. Tonight, clear, cold, and 19. Tomorrow, sunny with a high of only 42, winds gusting over 30 miles an hour, mostly clear, and 31 tomorrow night. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios, this is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
Now we can move forward and we can do something really fantastic here. If we can light the fire under our legislature, if we can get Republicans on board to do the right thing, to not play wishy-washy politics, to not coddle to the education special interests, maybe we can get our budget under control. We're now prepared to understand that everything we do, we have to do with a supermajority to override her veto, because she's going to veto just about everything that the legislature does.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
I gotta say, Mondays are one of those days where you're just trying to refigure everything out. You're trying to figure out what changed because, you know, the weird, hey, it's a Monday morning and computers don't like to seem to work, or it's snowing outside, which is very strange to me in the fact that last year, if I remember correctly, last year we did not have a snow until, I want to say, like February or maybe late December. We had a little dusting. We already got like an inch or two here in the Wichita, South Central Kansas area, which is absolutely mind-boggling to me. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. It is a Monday morning. It's an honor to have you along today right here on the Big Talker KQAM, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting it as well on TV today, KGPT TV channel 2610. Good morning. Welcome aboard on, it is a Monday morning. Let's go ahead and get it started. We're setting the tone for today and for the entire week. I know today's kind of sort of a semi-holiday, as the holiday was yesterday. It's officially the federal holiday today, but let's have some fun with it. What do you say?
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Yeah, why not? 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, we'd love to hear from you today. It's going to be a fun one. There is some really wild news out there that just the things that make you go, the wild people, the things people try and get away with, the things that people try and do just because they technically can. We live in a very interesting time in society. I've always said that I've always been born in the wrong generation. I would have loved to have been born a lot later or a lot earlier, I guess, to where, I don't know, it's just a really weird time, and I'm still trying to figure it all out. It is snowing right now, so if you are driving to work, be very, very careful, because this is the first snow of the entire year, which means that people are going to drive very stupidly today. It is true. I already saw 2 accidents on the way to work this morning, as I saw people spin. I saw them hit the railing in the middle. I saw them just kind of, do the donuts, as they like to do. And it's like every single year, people just forget the fact that the little white stuff on the ground means that it's a little bit slippery. And this is the wet stuff, too. It is wet. It is sloppy. It is very slushy. It is very slippery. Be very careful out there this morning. But you know it's going to happen. People are going to wreck. It's going to be pileups, and there's going to be backups on your way to work this morning. If you have to go to work, it is, of course, the day where kids are very upset because most of them don't have school today because of the federal holiday. And then, of course, that's when it snows. So by tomorrow, it'll be all cleaned up, and then they go back to school, and they don't have to miss any extra days of school. And that's, of course, the way it always seems to work, and the kids are going to be very upset about this. So be very, very, very careful on your way to work this morning. And if we hear about any backups or anything, we'll, I'm sure, let you know with Rick Everett and the news team and what's going on with some of the cancellations, closures, and different highway issues going on this morning. 316-721-8255. It's almost kind of like we need Al Gore again, right? We need Al Gore to kind of warm things up a little bit, make things a little bit more of a fiesta, because we can just really blame whatever we want to. We can blame Republicans for the fact that we now have snow in November, which normally would be a normal thing, but now the fact that we haven't had that in the last couple of years means that now it's all global warming, and therefore Al Gore has overcorrected the issue because no longer do we have global warming, but now we only have snow in the wintertime. I know, crazy thought, right? Crazy thought. We can really blame and do whatever we want to. Kind of like the story that you saw in KWCH over the weekend that I have to laugh at. As a 69-year-old man in the Netherlands, a Dutchman, sues and goes to court to try and change his age from 69 to 49 years old. From 69 to 49 years old. Why? Because he wants to avoid age discrimination. Emil Radelband launched a legal battle to change his birth date from March 11, 1949 to March 11, 1969 in order to improve his chances with women on dating apps like Tinder and to help with job prospects. Quote, we live in a time where you can change your name and change your gender. Why can't I change my own age? You know, he brings up a valid point. If you're legally allowed to change your name, which you change your name all the time, I guess that's really not a big deal, but you change your gender, which means you're ignoring the chromosomes, you're ignoring the DNA, you're ignoring the genetics of who you actually are. That's a bit of an interesting concept. But if you're allowed to change that, then why can't you change it? You know what? I wasn't born in 49. I was born in 69 because I self-identify as a 49-year-old, not a 69-year-old individual. With this freedom of choice of name, freedom of gender, I want to have my own age. I want to control myself, especially in an age of to avoid age discrimination in society, especially on dating websites. So when I ask for a mortgage, they say it's impossible. If I go to Tinder, then I get women from 68 to 69 year old on there. How about just being economical with the truth about his age? I don't want to lie. I just want to be myself, so don't force me to lie. Apparently, age is not an absolute truth any longer. These are the times that I tell you, we live in a very strange time. We live in a time to where Governor-elect Laura Kelly is able to come into the governor's office, get a review saying that the economic forecast is looking really, really well because we've tried to work really hard to actually grow economic incentives here, by actually get things back in, by actually start working to lower the unemployment rate, to bring people into the state, to actually get the economy back going, to talk about cutting taxes. The economy begins to tick up a little bit. She sees an economic forecast, and she starts thinking that she can spend the money before it's even there. These are the times that we live in. We live in the times to where President Trump mentions the caravan coming up from the Mexican border, and he's called racist just because he says that if you come across the border illegally, then you're not going to be allowed to have the chance to claim asylum, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But now, of course, the social media going nuts, the media, mainstream media going nuts, the liberal progressives going nuts saying, we caught you. You said that you wanted people to come here illegally, and now you're turning your back on that. That means you have proven your racism. We've proven the fact that you actually don't care about these individuals, and we want to come after you because you're a racist. Yeah. So we have all that and more to cover today on the show. I want to hear from you as well at 316-721-8255. Hopefully you had a wonderful weekend. It was actually quite relaxing now that the election's over. Had a little bit of a recoup period, which was kind of nice. We are running, by the way, if you didn't hear last week, I am trying to help out as well with the Sedgwick County Republican Party. They have their election with the precinct members and delegates this Thursday. So if you're one of those, then we look forward to seeing you out there. We're having coffees. We had one on Saturday. We're going to have one tonight at 5 o'clock at the Common Grounds at 2812 East Douglas, and as we are running for the board for the Sedgwick County Republican Party. So that is another quote-unquote election, I guess, coming up that is going to be this week. But it was kind of nice to sit back, enjoy a little bit, just get to relax a little bit, and feel a little bit more recouped going into a brand new week. Now that we're going into holiday season, it's going to come up very, very quickly with some of the other things we're going to be working on, getting ready for the 2019 legislative session, getting ready for the holidays, which we always have fun with. And today we are going to continue on a whole another week of our KQAM KGSO turkey drop. So stay tuned in. More information to come with that here very quickly. The Democrats at the federal level, now that they have the House of Representatives, the big question is, as they campaign, many of them campaigned on at least, is will they begin the impeachment process? Will they begin the process of trying to impeach President Donald Trump? Now, I think it's very silly because they have to go through the impeachment process, but at the same time, the Senate has to do the investigation on the legitimacy of the impeachment and whether there is actually a legitimate reason to impeach President Trump, which is not going to happen because we still have a Republican majority. With the House of Representatives now, they campaigned on the fact that if we get the majority, then we can have civility again, as Hillary Clinton said, that they're going to begin the impeachment process, as many of the Democrats had mentioned. But now, according to Bloomberg.com, impeaching Trump, an option top Democrats won't want to touch. Impeaching President Donald Trump may be the dream of some Democrats, but party leaders poised to take control of the House of Representatives won't go there even if after the president ousted Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Why? This is a constitutionally perilous moment for our country and for the president, and they just don't see the opportunity. Nadler and the other House Democrat leaders are still stopping short of citing the constitutional power of impeachment that they could wield potentially, and that some party activists are demanding they pursue. It's a move that could backfire by coming off as partisan overkill and prove futile because impeaching by the House would be unlikely to result in the removal of the president by the Senate, which the Republicans increased their majority with on Tuesday night. So, you know what? Let them try. Let them spin their wheels. Let them feel like they're doing something somewhat productive. Let them open up a bunch of investigations. And then guess what? It's only going to help Republicans in 2020. You got to remember, House of Representatives is every 2 years, which means we had the midterm election this year. In 2020, not only are we going to have another presidential election, but the House of Representatives is going to be up for grabs as well, again. And I guarantee you that the Democrats are more partisan than they've ever been before. They have to play nice right now. They have to play like they're the middle of the road. They have to play like they're actually going to do something productive. They have to play like they're actually willing to work with Republicans to some degree. They may still try and hold their Democrat base to some degree as well, but at the same time, they're looking to 2020, and they have to look like they have actual solutions. They have to look like they're not just obstructionists. They have to look like they have an agenda other than just saying we hate Donald Trump and Republicans, and we're going to do whatever it takes to stop them. They have to do more than that, which is why Nancy Pelosi came out after she is expected to take the gavel again as Speaker of the House, to come out and say, oh, yes, I'm looking forward to trying to work in a bipartisan way with Republicans and with President Donald Trump, which is why now, according to this article, that Democrats are beginning to waver on their impeachment process that they've so gotten their base riled up about, saying that we will impeach President Donald Trump. They're desperate for the 2020 election, and they realize that if they go too extreme and they don't work with the Senate and they don't work with the president at all in any way, shape, or form, nothing will get done, and that they will lose in the 2020 election, that we will regain majority in the House, and we will continue on with President Donald Trump in 2020, and they cannot stand the thought of something like that. They cannot stand the thought of President Donald Trump still being in power for another 4 years. The fact that they are so anti-Donald Trump and that they couldn't imagine him winning the first election, let alone a second election for a re-election. Imagine what they would do. Coming up at hour number 3, we have Gerard Lamiero, author of the book Great News for America and More Great News for America. GreatNewsForAmerica.com is his website, as he did he always has his predictions on what the elections are going to look like, and he predicted massive victories for the midterm election. We'll see if his predictions actually came true and what his predictions are going into the 2020 election. So we have a big show, a lot of coming up, not only to recap what happened, but to talk about how to move forward. So we'll do that. This week, we're going to be getting on a lot of individuals looking at the legislative session 2019 as well. It's going to be a fun week, a big week, and I know today being a holiday, maybe a little bit more on the lighter side, but we do have, by the way, YouTube Live up that you can check out, youtube.com, find KQAM Radio. We had about 3 or 4 new individuals that subscribe to the channel, KQAM Radio, which we love. Thank you so much for that, as we continue to grow by leaps and bounds each and every day. Let's take a break. 20 minutes past the hour. It's going to be a fun show. Your thoughts as well at 316-721-8255 on a snowy, cold Monday morning in November, just a week and a half away from Thanksgiving. Let that sink into your psyche for just a second. This is The Voice of Reason on a Monday. Stay here.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Good morning. The American Farm Bureau Federation is optimistic that a new farm bill will be in place by the end of 2018. Andrew Walmsley is the American Farm Bureau Federation Director of Congressional Relations, and he says that post-election comments by several leaders in both chambers of Congress, including the presumed incoming House Ag Committee chair, are very, very encouraging.
We had to get past the election to figure out a few issues outstanding. When members are back in town, all the work that committee staff have done to get us to this point, a few decisions can be made and we can move pretty quickly.
Walmsley says Farm Bureau is hearing that Farm Bill negotiations are getting close to wrapping up. Now, if negotiators can finish up on the few remaining challenges, Walmsley says there should be no problem at all passing the bill before the end of the year.
I think they're still kind of working towards some challenges with budget on getting the best bill possible in the commodity title, maybe a few outstanding issues in conservation, and then obviously nutrition. But I think the rest of the bill is pretty close to being wrapped up.
Walmsley says that if the Farm Bill does not pass in the lame duck session before the end of this year, waiting until 2019 would mean that Congress would have to start the Farm Bill process all over. And he says that, of course, would be detrimental to agriculture. One thing Farm Bureau representatives are hearing from legislative leaders is that they are not considering a possible Farm Bill extension.
They are intending to get this done. That's going to be key for farmers and ranchers, our grassroots members, making sure their member of Congress knows how important this is, that they need to be applying pressure to leadership to hopefully have a conference report to vote here in the next couple weeks to get this done.
American Farm Bureau Federation Director of Congressional Relations, Andrew Walmsley. Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network.
Mark Walters. Join me for Armed American Radio every weeknight at 8 for your hour of daily defense. We talk everything guns, Second Amendment, helping protect your right to own and carry a firearm, and more. Also, make sure to catch Armed American Radio live every Sunday evening, 7 to 10. It's what you need to know to protect your right to defend yourself. It's Armed American Radio, and it's right here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 1025 FM, KQAM.
Armed American Radio on the Big Talker, KQAM.
You all know Paul at Riverside Cafe, and I was by and saw a sign that said pick any 4 for $4 for breakfast. I said, Paul, that's a heck of a deal. He said, well, yes it is. Pick any 4. Sausage link, hash brown, slice of bacon, 3 silver dollar pancakes, quarter biscuit with gravy, a sausage patty, slice of buttered toast, any 4 for only $4. It is kind of an early bird special from 6 to 9 every day. The pick 4 for $4 at Riverside Cafe.
Hey, Mark Walters with Armed American Radio, and I want to tell you about Rob's Gun Tech and Firearms. They're the dealer to buy, sell, trade, and even consign. Budget to high-end custom firearms, ammo, accessories. They've got it all and feature Wilson Combat, Gun Crafters Industries, and Nighthawk Custom. Have a request? Work with their in-house gunsmith, find the right solution for you. Rob's Gun Tech offers pricing programs and discounts and proudly gives back to the Veterans Suicide Network. Learn more today at robsguntechandfirearms.com or visit them just east of 159th North on East Kellogg, where they know more than just the price.
Hi, this is Brian Davis from Davis Liquor Outlet.
And this is Blake Davis.
Did you know that you can sign up online at davisliquoroutlet.com to receive coupons?
We provide monthly coupons with discounts, in-store specials, and we produce a newsletter every month.
It is real simple. Just go to davisliquoroutlet.com.
Then head to the Get Monthly Coupons tab.
And don't forget, every month, people over 60 save 10%.
And active duty and veterans also save 10%.
Davis Liquor Outlet with 4 locations across greater Wichita.
Each location independently owned and operated.
It's full of comic legends.
What TV series featured Tinky Winky and Poe?
To Catch a Predator. Wall-to-wall laughs.
In Greek mythology, the goddess of virginity is who?
Lying.
It's the comedy game show.
In reference to the drugstore chain, what does CVS stand for?
Condoms, Viagra, and snacks.
Watch all the comedy on Funny You Should Ask. Weekdays at 2 on Fox, Kansas.
Don't miss more ways to save on a new Bobcat compact track loader at White Star Machinery. Choose a cash rebate up to $10,000 or take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days with approved credit. Put built tough priced right Bobcat equipment to work and get peace of mind with our 2-year, $2,000 full warranty. Why wait? Start saving today. Check it out on our website, whitestarmachinery.com.
White Star, get the job done.
Hey, 25 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice Reason. Good Monday morning to you. Happy, technically not Veterans Day, but Veterans Day weekend, federal holiday closures and stuff. Welcome in, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. You know what? I think I need to change my age. I think I do. I just hit 30, as you know, and kind of going through the whole beginning of the midlife crisis thing. Now that I'm legitimately allowed to do so, and according to the other story, if you can just sue and change your date of birth because of age discrimination, and you can change your gender, you can change all the other stuff, why not? Why not? You just have the right to change whatever you need. So I'm going to change my age, and I think I'm going to change my age to retirement age, so that way I can just not have to worry about anything. I can start collecting Social Security now, because I'll technically be another age that I self-identify with, and now I can just retire. What do you think? 316-721-8255. I think that's what we should do. Republicans at the federal level, by the way, as the Democrats start wavering on the whole impeachment process as they said they wanted to do, they're going to back off on some of the investigations. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But at least maybe back off on some of the impeachment process. I think Republicans have an opportunity here. And here, again, is the opportunity to show that the Democrats have zero idea what they're doing, zero ideas on actually wanting to do something productive, but just wanting to be the obstructionist. Now we expose them for that. We ram through as many things as we can to the Senate. By the way, bills that are sitting there waiting. And I really hope before we actually do the transition in the next month or so, that maybe the Senate will actually look at some of the bills the House has currently passed, sitting there waiting for them, and that we can get it through before the new Congress takes over. I doubt it, but I would love to see that. Maybe the national reciprocity. Get it through now. The Farm Bill. Get it done now. We need it to be done. Focus on getting it, because if we don't, what's going to happen? The House is going to come back in with a Democrat majority. All those bills are going to be null and void. So if the Senate does pass them later, then they have to go back to the Senate for reapproval. And do you really think that a national reciprocity with a Democrat control of close to 26 votes is actually going to happen? Do you really think that a farm bill with the work requirements on the SNAP program is really going to go through the House of Representatives with a 26-vote majority for Democrats, where they've been fighting this and obstructing it since the beginning, and now they're going to have the opportunity to really do so in the House of Representatives? It's really mind-boggling to me why the Senate would sit and wait and stall and let this happen, because it's going to be more difficult to get any bills passed at all, and we need to get them done. What are we going to do about a farm bill? The farmers sitting there waiting right now. Hello, we need some help. Help's not coming. Well, I don't think we should rely on the government to help you anyways, but if we're going to, with a commodity market-driven trade deals that we have going on, not to mention the SNAP program and the work requirements that we could put in. Right now, we have unemployment rates that are low. We have businesses that are looking for help. Why not put a little bit of a work requirement in when we have an opportunity to do so, because the economy is favorable to it? But they won't. And now we're starting to see a little bit of the sliding to the pendulum back to the other way. Here in Kansas, we may have a stronger Republican majority in the legislature, but we have a Democrat governor that's going to be pushing to, again, block everything that we're doing. We're going to have the House of Representatives at the federal level blocking whatever the Senate tries to do. It's going to be a hard-fought gridlock session for a while, but we have the opportunity to expose, to block, and maybe not gain anything, but at least stop their gains. And I guess, you know what, government gridlock's a good thing. If they're not passing any bills, then they're not restricting any freedom. So I guess in the long run, it does help us, but we're not fixing any of the issues right now. Maybe, just maybe, we could have the opportunity for the private sector to start fixing some of the issues on its own as well. Got to take a break. Bottom of the hour news coming up. Lots more to get to here on a Monday. It's going to be a fun day today. Your phone calls when we come back. This is The Voice of Reason.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
29 people have died in the massive Camp Fire in and around Paradise, California, matching the deadliest wildfire in state history. That brings the death toll from fires this past week to 31 statewide, with 2 fires also still blazing away around Los Angeles. Scott McLean reports President Trump has criticized California fire efforts.
President Trump, for his part, he's approved a disaster declaration for California, but he also tweeted blaming gross mismanagement of forests for California's wildfire problems. The governor responded saying, look, forestry management, it's only part of the issue here. The much bigger issue is climate change and what to do about that.
In Paris this morning, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has become the first Western leader to acknowledge his country's intelligence agencies have listened to recordings of the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Stocks are narrowly mixed ahead of Wall Street's opening bell this morning, with the Dow and S&P futures down slightly, the Nasdaq up slightly. I'm Michael Toscano.
FMLA, FLSA, ACA.
It's harder than ever for businesses to keep up with today's evolving alphabet soup of regulations. What's a company to do? Kronos. With Kronos, you can minimize compliance risk and track HR policies, making sure they are applied consistently and fairly. HR, payroll, talent, and timekeeping in one unified system, all with a proven implementation approach and simplified, transparent pricing. Learn more at kronos.com/compliance. Kronos, workforce innovation that works.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes, and you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Monday. Well, the first real taste of winter has come to the Sunflower State over the weekend. Schools in Garden City and a handful of surrounding communities closed today because of snowfall. Also some late starts out in western Kansas. Forecasters say the snow that's moved into the area should be pretty much moved out by about midday. Democratic wins in state elections could lead to relaxed marijuana laws, tightened gun laws, and expanded health care coverage in some states. Democrats who gained full control of a half-dozen state legislatures and governor's offices in Tuesday's elections already are making plans for an aggressive agenda. But overall, Republicans still control more states. The number of states nationwide with split partisan control is near its 60-year low point. And many city and county offices across the state closed in observance of Veterans Day. Mid-America Network News.
Shopping small and local this holiday season feels good, so pass along these good tidings with gift boxes and baskets from Yoder Meats. Our gift boxes are filled with locally sourced meats and steaks, as well as cheeses and other products made from Kansas companies. We're sure you'll love supporting them too. What a wonderful way to show your love and appreciation to family, friends, clients, or employees. From our Christmas tree to yours, give the old-fashioned flavor of Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Hi, I'm Bob.
And I'm Amanda with Continental Truck Accessories.
We know not every truck rolling down the road looks just like it did when it came off the assembly line.
That's why Continental Truck Accessories at 6701 South Broadway stands above and beyond our competition.
With truck accessories and applications custom created to fit your individual truck's needs.
Anybody can sell you cookie-cutter truck accessories.
If it's customized truck accessories you need, come see us at Continental Truck Accessories.
6701 South Broadway.
Old Man Winter is knocking, and soon it could be as cold in your house as it is outside from the air coming through your windows. Now's the time to call Myers Exterior Products for your free estimate on new replacement windows. Did you know 10 to 25% of your heat can be lost out of your old windows? Don't let that happen to you this winter. Call 944-1024.
Myers Exterior Products. Call 944-1024. Call 944-1024.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. 50-50 chance of snow before lunch. Mostly cloudy and 30. Blustery with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy but clearing. Low 14. Wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
The fastest growing radio show in Kansas.
What? How's he do that?
That's what I'm talking about.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Welcome into The Voice of Reason, 36 minutes past the hour. Great to have you along today. You know, it's almost like we're on a beach somewhere, even though it may be like really cold and snowy today.
White sands and coconuts and stuff, and yeah, let's at least pretend. You know what? Hey, if you can do it, did you hear about the story KWCH age discrimination in the Netherlands? A Dutchman, he is officially trying to change his legal age because he's concerned about age discrimination, and if you're able to change your gender, now you can change your age, and he's trying to turn from a 69-year-old man to a 49-year-old man so he doesn't experience age discrimination on Tinder. Oh. Yeah. Okay. There you go. I guess everything's good until
and it's
they get to the picture.
Yeah, and it's officially in court. So you know what? Now he can go on there and say, I am officially a 49-year-old man, and I just look a little wrinkly for a 49-year-old man. Rick Everett in studio.
Boom. It's
the humanity.
Of course, there is the Just for Men hair color, though, that might help him do better in the picture.
Maybe. You know what? Yeah. I don't know. Do you like the Ageless Wrinkle Cream stuff? You know?
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Hey, handful of school closures to pass along, and there are also some delays, so stay abreast of that. But USD 263 Mulvane closed today. Cedarvale, Belle Plaine, Circle Schools, all of those closed today. USD 393 Rose Hill is not in session today. Douglas has called classes for the day, as has Dexter, Flint Hills, and USD 490 El Dorado. All of those schools have called classes for today. Wichita Public Schools running on schedule. It is a little dicey out there, though, so take some extra time. Allow yourself some extra distance between vehicles as we sit here in the KQAM studios and gaze up on Kellogg Avenue at the Mays exit. Traffic not moving too quickly, maybe about 40, 45 miles an hour on Kellogg.
Did you see any accidents this morning?
Some of those bridges and overpasses are just downright icy.
They are.
No, I didn't really see anything. I saw the aftermath of a truck being pulled out off of I-235. I was coming southbound right there where I-235 hits the junction of Kellogg. Somebody had a little hoop-de-doo and went into the ditch, and they were getting pulled out. But
hoop-de-doo.
I didn't see anything major. The emergency accident reporting plan is in effect, though, for the city of Wichita. And what that does is it allows for you, if you're involved in an accident, to have up to 24 hours to report that accident, as long as no one was injured and that there's no suspicion of drugs or alcohol. But if the vehicles are operable and you can both get the heck out of there and exchange information, that's all good to go. You can pick up one of those accident reporting forms at any Quick Trip or Quick Shop. It is important, though, to remind you to exchange all pertinent information at the time and scene of that accident. So take some time out there this morning. Forecasters are saying any snow that is in the area should be out of the area by about noontime.
Well, that is good. The first snow, first off, it is very strange that we saw the first snow now. Is the last 2 years that I've been here, it didn't even snow until like January, February. We got like a little dusting into December last year, but that was about it.
This could be just a precursor because
it could be.
The monarch butterflies did start moving through earlier this year.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah. And you got to remember that as soon as the first snow always hits is when all the crazy drivers come out and be like, it's going to be just fine, I tell you what.
Yeah.
I saw 2 accidents this morning.
Did you really?
I did. Okay. One of them, they spun and went right into the center thing on Kellogg.
Oh, you
there.
Actually witnessed.
Yeah, I went right by it. I waved at him as I went by.
You waved?
I waved. Like, hi. Well done.
Wow.
Well done.
Well, I think people still don't realize that anti-lock brakes have nothing to do with stopping once you're in a slick spot. I mean, they might slow you down a little bit, but
you have to learn to do the controlled slide. Coming off of Kellogg and turning onto Mays as we got off the exit, I did do the slide, but you know what? You do the controlled slide and whoosh, and then you're done. And it's like you're on a dirt track racing, and it feels kind of fun.
Steer into the skid. Take your foot off the gas.
Do we not practice this anymore when we get our driver's license?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think we do. There we are. Rick Everett with the news.
So many of the vehicles are not rear-wheel drive anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they probably don't have to teach that as much.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, we can thank Al Gore for that. It's, we don't get any more bad weather. We don't have to train that for anymore. There you go. Just saying.
Back to your political.
There we go. Good stuff. 316-721-8255. Appreciate the update there with Rick. We'll get another one here in just a little bit. Open lines to you at 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, good morning. This is Deacon.
Deacon, what's going on, sir?
Man, it's a beautiful day out here, brother.
Yeah, if you like the nice, cold, snowy weather, then fantastic.
It's fantastic. But doing a little PSA this morning.
Okay.
The trash man is still at work, so watch your driving because we're walking around on the street.
That is very true. That is very true. Now, let me ask you this, because I always thought that the snow and the cold weather and the water would make all the trash a little more smelly. Is that the case this morning?
Actually, no. It's less smelly when it's really cold.
Okay,
Now, when it rains in the summertime, it smells real good.
It smells really rich on that one. But not too bad this morning, then, with the cold weather.
No, because, gets cold outside, your nose closes down on you, so it's all good.
Hey, there you go. But no, that's a great point. Be very careful, not only with the weather and the driving, but also with the trash men and women out there and about doing their thing this morning, because it is very easy to lose control and hopefully not do so in the vicinity of someone walking around on the side of the street.
Right, watch out for the kids, watch out for the mailman, watch out for people who have to be out here on the streets, and if you got to be out, get out. But if you don't have to get out and drive in this stuff, stay home. Enjoy the heater.
Hey, I like
have
that.
fun with it.
I like that. It's almost like it's holiday time. Maybe we should start getting our Christmas stuff up a little early this year. What do you think?
There you go. That's a good day to put it out. Throw some warm clothes on, make some hot chocolate, or maybe a little Irish coffee, and go out and have a little fun with it.
I like the way you think, sir. I like it. Deacon, appreciate it very much. Happy Monday to you, my friend. 316-721-8255. There you go, the Irish coffee first thing in the morning. Here it is, hat tip to Cake TV on this story. Trump moves to limit asylum. New rule challenges the courts. Now, I would like you for just a second to go on and look at the social media comments of people commenting on this story from the Associated Press or on Judge Report or wherever they may be sharing this story. Because this is the heartless, ridiculous, hate-filled attacks that the progressives do every single day. But President Donald Trump issued a proclamation on Friday to deny asylum to migrants who enter the country illegally, tightening the border as caravans of the Central Americans slowly approach the United States. The plan was immediately challenged in court. Just that paragraph right there. Now, this is of course, the racism that goes through the nation. Yeah. Racism that spreads through our nation is, if you remember last time, what was it, a few months ago, when that big group of individuals were down there and the asylum seekers and they were trying to come across the border illegally. Here's what happens, is that if they try and sneak across the border, as this has been done in the past, if they sneak across the border, they have been told to say that they are there to find asylum, that they are a refugee, and that they are here for asylum seeking. And therefore, if they get caught, they don't get in trouble, but they go into the process of saying, you know what, all right, we're going to bring you in, and now we're going to hold you, and we're going to begin processing you as an asylum seeker as opposed to an individual who just wanted to cross the country illegally, cross the border illegally. President Trump has now made the comment of saying that's not going to be allowed. You need to come into the country legally. You need to go through the asylum process like normal, and if you get caught crossing the border illegally, you're not going to have the opportunity to say that you're an asylum seeker and be protected. If you come in illegally, that means that you have bad intentions, you're not going to follow our rule of law, and we're going to deport you, and we're not going to allow you to even begin that process. Now, the question I have for you, is there anything wrong with that? Most of us would say no, this is common sense. Because, look, if you're coming here, you're going to be knocking on our door and saying, hey, can you let us in? We're an asylum seeker. We came from a bad situation. We want to be taken care of. Can you please help us out? That you would do that legally. You would wait. You would understand there's a process. You would understand that it would take some time. You would understand that there would actually be a process to make something like this happen. But some of them try and sneak across illegally. Hey, I wonder if they don't get caught, then all the power to them. They get in here, and voila, they're here, and now they can disappear into the blue, and no one can find them otherwise. If they get caught, then all they got to do is asylum. Remember the movie Pirates of the Caribbean? And every time they get caught by the pirates, they go, parlay! Means they can't be touched. They got to be taken to the captain, and then they can negotiate some kind of deal, or they can chat, or then they get in trouble, or whatever. But parlay, that was always the key word. Whenever they got caught, that would be the protection. They would be under that protected status. This is what they try to do. Sneak in illegally, sneak in across the border. If they don't get caught, then fantastic. They're good. They go on about their business. They go do their thing. They go and do whatever agenda that they had in mind as they come into the country. If they do get caught, asylum. Oh, no, we can't touch you. You're under that protected status. Got to bring you in and do the processing. Donald Trump says, not anymore. Not anymore. If you come across the border illegally, then you will not be protected under an asylum status. You will now be vetted as an illegal alien. You will be shipped back, or you will be deported out of the country, and you will not have even the potential access or the potential opportunity to try and come in as an asylum seeker. It's not going to happen. This is being considered hateful. This thought, just think about this. This thought is considered hate-filled, is considered racist, and now is being challenged in court. And you know what the courts are going to say. There's going to be one federal judge somewhere in the nation that says you're not allowed to do that. They're going to block it. They're going to stop it from happening. Then they have to appeal it, and it's going to take even a longer process as we already fight the hearings, or we already fight about the quote-unquote rights or lack thereof that an asylum seeker and an illegal alien has in this nation. By the president, the executive order, or the executive power, the one that actually executes the power, that enforces the law after Congress signs it. This is the way that we're going to execute the law. This is the way that we're going to handle the situation. We have, 10, 15,000 soldiers down at the border ready for these individuals to come just in case, watching them very closely. And if you break the law, then we're going to say, yeah, you know what, you don't have the opportunity to come in. We're very wary of you. We know it's a political movement. It's been organized by People Without Borders, which is a political activist group rallying people saying, hey, let's go to any country we want to because, by golly, we have the right to do so. This is who's fronted this organization, or this movement by this organization. They've already filed a lawsuit to say that we are abridging their constitutional rights, which they don't have any constitutional rights because they're not American citizens, but they feel they do have constitutional rights already because what are they doing? They're being hyped up by the United Nations. See, it all comes to fruition at the end of the day. Whether you believe that we should take care of individuals, whether you think that we should close ourselves off, whether you're very wary of who's coming to our borders or not, it doesn't matter. What it comes down to it is that we have political activist groups that are trying to make a political statement fronted by the quote-unquote global government or the United Nations, trying to make an example out of us. So that way they're forcing themselves in. Because if they do it, then they know they've won. They've made a political statement. and that they can do it over and over and over again. I guarantee you that if we allow this caravan to come into the country, then you're going to see massive amounts of caravans coming in from all over the place, from ship, from the north, from the south, from east and west, from all over the place, because they've won, and now they get to continue to do it. It is one more step towards the open borders, there is no line, there is no national lines, there is no arbitrary line between this is the United States and this is Mexico, this is the Canada, this is the U.S. This is what they want. So what's the fact that they're going after President Trump? Now, I don't think he's going to change his mind, but it depends on when the caravan lands here, when they arrive at the border, and where we're at in the legal process, already debating about how to handle these individuals. If the courts, again, there's going to be at least one federal judge that comes out and says, no, you're not allowed to say that if they come here illegally and they cross the border and then they claim asylum, that they're not allowed to be accepted as an asylum seeker. You're not allowed to block that. You have to accept them. They are an asylum seeker, and they were just trying to do what was best for their family, so therefore you cannot deny them that access. You know there's going to be a federal judge that says that. And then we're going to have to challenge it, and it goes to another court, and then it goes to the Supreme Court potentially, and then we have to wait for the hearings, and depending on where we are in that process when the caravan lands here is what's going to happen when they get here. And if the judges are very quick on actually challenging this, which they have been, and the judge comes out with a statement saying that we're going to deny you of this because, checks and balance system, you're not allowed to do that, then when they get here, then we have to accept them. Until we actually reverse it. And then by that time, the caravan issue's already done. The media's forgotten all about it. They're already into the country. And then we wait for the next one. They're smart. They plan this out. And we have to be on our A game to be able to counter what they've tried to do. 316-721-8255. 10 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's sneak in a phone call here, shall we? Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
Hey, this is Carl.
Hey, good morning, Carl. How are you?
Well, good. I'm driving on my way to work, and I'm listening to you, and you sound like a person that's been through a little bit of this.
That I've been through a little bit of this? I have not been, no.
Steve, Red. You know handlers, right? Those guys, the caravan, they have handlers bringing them here, and they're coaching them on what to say. And
sure.
And so you're exactly right on how they're going to do things and the courts and everything. It's just like it's just up to us to make sure that our laws are followed and to back any enforcement agency that follows the law.
Well, that is very true, and I'm glad you mentioned that. That it is that window that they see, and again, it's all going to time out perfectly for them as the federal judge counters and says you're not allowed to do this, President Trump and the executive branch. You're not allowed to say that if they come here illegally or they cross the border, then they can't claim asylum. They're going to make this judgment, and that's right at the same time the caravan will actually show up at the border, and then we'll start seeing this incident. The military is going to do what they can to keep them at bay, but it's going to be a very difficult situation, and if we're not allowed to enforce our laws because the courts have us tied our hands, then we're going to have to accept and submit, or at least that's what they think, and then they're going to try it all over again. And it's going to be a nonstop issue until we finally come to accept the terms of court, according to them, that will accept the terms that, you know what, just go ahead and let them in. And that's what they want.
Well, every law, every time they've done that, as it's pushed upwards in the hierarchy of the judicial system, eventually an appellate court or someone that says, no, this is the law, and the administration has won.
Sure.
And so it's just a matter of time, I guess you'd say. And I appreciate you, Andy. Appreciate all your outlook on things.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Safe travels this morning, Carl, on your way to work in this snow. It is pretty vicious out there. Appreciate that. 316-721-8255. Do I have any experience in the immigration stuff? No. But I have experience in the political side to where I know the games that they like to play. And we need to be smarter as conservatives rather than being very short-sighted to just see what's in front of us right now. So we need to look at the long term because they play the long-term game. And politically, we know what they do. We know how they play the game. We know how they like to stretch things out. We know how they like to do their political BS. And it happens every single time. And then it's always us in scramble mode. No longer. Let's actually be prepared for this. Let's be aware what's going to happen. President Trump actually thinks a little bit further out, which is very good, so he can actually begin to counter this as well. But as conservatives, we need to look a little bit further down the road and plan for what they're going to do. Again, this is the game of chess that we have to play. You ever play chess? You got to be 4 steps ahead. You have to think, okay, they're going to move here potentially. If they do, then we're going to move here. If they move over here, then we're going to go over here. And you have it all laid out. That's why it takes 2 hours to play a chess game, because you look at every single scenario for every single move, and it takes you 10 minutes to decide what you're going to do every time they make a move. This is what we have to plan on as conservatives. Appreciate it. Let's take a break here, wrap up hour number 1. We got lots more to get to when we come back. We'll shift things back to the statewide level here a little bit. The revenue coming into Kansas, what's it going to look like for the next year, and will that help or hurt Governor-elect Laura Kelly and the Republican legislature here in the state of Kansas? That and more right here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Friday was kind of a tough day for Kansas City wheat and corn. Soybeans fared a little better, and the livestock complex was not in a good way as we finished the day on Friday. December corn down 3 3/4 at 369 3/4. March down 4 at 381 1/4. December Kansas City wheat down 9 3/4 at 874 1/2. March down 10 1/4 at 509 1/4. November soybeans up 7 3/4 at 875 1/4. January beans up 7 3/4 at 886 3/4. December soybean meal 50 cents lower at 305.60. January down 60 cents at 307.40. December soy oil 40 points lower at 27.62. January down 42 points at 27.80. So the soy products did not fare well at all, but the beans themselves went on a bit of a rally. Corn and wheat finished lower. December live cattle down 197 at 114.57. February live cattle down 207 at 117.80. Each of the later months was down, many by more than $1. Feeder cattle not any better. November feeders at 149 even, down $1.17. January feeders at 143.80, down $2.47. Most of the later months in feeder cattle were down by more than $2. So it was an ugly day for cattle on Friday. Hogs were mixed, mostly lower, I guess we'll have to call it, though. December hogs up 17 at 55.80, but the next several months were lower. February hogs down 62 at 59.50. We did see another green speck in the far back months, but mostly lower when it comes to hogs. Cotton took a pounding on Friday as well. December cotton down 92 points at 78.09, while March cotton finished the day down 68 points at 79.86. So it turned out not to be a good day for cotton. Kansas City wheat really struggled Friday. Markets from Mid-America Ag Network.
Before we know it, we'll be scraping windshields and working on year-end things. What are you wearing? Life gets away from us sometimes, like the annual eye exam that your insurance company all but pays for. Waring and Fiegel Optometry at 21st and Tyler is a full-scope professional optometry practice. At Waring and Fiegel Optometry, new patients are welcome. Don't let the benefits of your insurance, let alone the benefits of healthy vision, get away from you. Waring and Fiegel Optometry, 21st and Tyler.
Two things that keep customers coming back and referring their friends to Lee Reed Engraving are superior quality and unparalleled customer service. The time to recognize team members through annual awards or employee contributions this year is right around the corner. Lee Reed Engraving specializes in the personalization of awards and recognition items for businesses, schools, churches, and professional organizations of all types. You can learn more at LeeReedEngraving.com. Lee Reed Engraving, 3417 West Central. A DUI can literally stop a person and their vehicle in its tracks. If you know someone who's gotten a nudge from the judge and their vehicle can't budge without an ignition interlock device, the next right move is Just Right Auto Repair. Just Right Auto Repair at 4312 West Central is Wichita's Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist. Intoxilock is the preferred device of choice among customers and monitoring authorities. Make your vehicle just right in the Quartz site. Just Right Auto Repair, your Intoxilock Ignition Interlock Installation Specialist.
Well, just in the last hour, we've already had a couple more individuals subscribing to the KQAM radio page on YouTube, which we love and appreciate. Thank you. Thank you for that. Keep going. YouTube.com. Find KQAM radio. Subscribe to it. See the live feed every day. Also, you can watch the old podcast. That's where the new podcast is. I don't know if you're aware or not, but the Podbean website that we used to have is no longer. I'm not doing that. We may bring it back a little bit later, but as of right now, there is no other podcast. So if you want to watch the show, if you want to listen to the show after it's all said and done, go to YouTube. We're going to start sharing the link after the show because apparently the feed for the live feed and the feed for the podcast is different each day. So go on to youtube.com, find KQAM Radio, subscribe to it, and that way you can see not only the live feed in the morning, but then the podcast of the show later on, because that is the only place for the podcast nowadays, which we're okay with that for right now. We'll see how far it goes. We may bring back the other podcast as well at a later time. Hour number 2, lots more coming up with The Voice Reason right here. Don't go anywhere on a Monday. Celebrate the season with great deals on the world's best-selling off-road lineup during the Polaris Holiday Sales Event. Get low financing and rebates up to $2,000 on hardworking Rangers, unstoppable sportsmen, versatile Generals, and high-performance racers. See Wichita Tractor today or go online to wichitatractor.com. Offers valid in U.S. through 12/31 of 18, subject to credit approval. Rebates and financing vary by model and GRC dealer for details. Always wear a helmet and never drink and ride.
American Family Insurance offers you the protection you need to pursue your dreams, even if you take a couple of wrong turns. At American Family, we know your car is more than 4 wheels that get you from point A to point B. It's freedom to pursue the things important to you, which is why you'll want to make sure you have the proper protection. To learn more, get a quote. Contact local American Family agent Brad Woody at 265-6200.
American Family Insurance.
American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53783.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios. Rusty Eck Ford, family owned, customer friendly. This is the Big Talker, 102.5 FM and 1480 AM, KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge, Kansas. Sales and service of the big rigs and trailers, plus ag diesel equipment repair on and off the farm.
Good Monday morning. A number of schools in our area closed today due to the inclement weather. However, Wichita Public Schools are running on schedule. Those closures include Mulvane, Cedar Vale, Belle Plaine, Circle, Rose Hill, Douglas, Dexter, USD 490 El Dorado, Flint Hills, and the Wichita Trinity Academy and Wichita Adventist Christian Academy. Also, no classes today. The emergency accident reporting plan is in effect for Wichita. That means that accidents can be reported within 24 hours as long as both vehicles are operable, no one is injured, and there's no suspicion of drugs or alcohol. The forms for the emergency accident reporting plan can be located at any Quick Trip or Quick Shop. Wichita police investigating after a woman was shot near 13th and Hillside over the weekend. Police responded shortly before 7 o'clock Saturday night to where a woman had hit a tree in the 3900 block of East Vesta. Police say people stopped to help the woman and realized she had been shot in her upper body. Investigators are continuing to search for a suspect, and anyone with information is asked to contact police. A woman killed in a hit-and-run crash Friday night in South Wichita has been identified by her family. Police say 31-year-old Jennifer Self was walking near Harry and Hydraulic around 7 o'clock Friday night when she was struck by a vehicle. Police were on patrol in the area when they found Self in the middle of the roadway. KWCH-TV reports that officers found a decal off of a Nissan on the scene after the crash. Police are asking anyone with information who may have witnessed anything to contact 911. And the Sedgwick County Sheriff's Office says a 24-year-old who was killed in a single-vehicle accident on Northridge Road over the weekend has been identified. 24-year-old Aaron Dalton Lupo was southbound on Ridge Road when his vehicle left the roadway. I'm Rick Everett. Now to the sports desk with Doug Downs.
The Chiefs went to 9-1 on the season yesterday after beating the Arizona Cardinals 26-14 in a game that was very impressive as far as the defense was concerned. Andy Reid says he's proud of everyone and how the team played.
I was proud of our guys and the way that they played today. Again, the 5 sacks I thought were big from our defensive standpoint. Again, all in all, a good game where all 3 phases contributed.
The Chiefs now set their sights on the other team that's 9-1, Los Angeles Rams. It is a game that will happen 1 week from tonight, next Monday night. From the Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
The holidays bring friends and family together to tables filled with delicious food. Make the centerpiece of your holiday table smoked and cured meats from Yoder Meats. Ring in the holidays with our custom smoked turkeys, cured hams, or specialty meats like lamb, custom cut for your gathering. Stop by one of our 4 stores in Yoder or Wichita today and let our team help you find the right cut of meat to impress your holiday guests. From our holiday table to yours, taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats.
You can find out why Pizza John's is the choice for pizza in Derby for over 44 years. Pizza John's in Derby, the original purveyors of round meals and flat snacks, is more than just pizza. Lunches include salads, spaghetti complete with garlic bread, and Pizza John's of Derby is the hoagie headquarters of South Central Kansas. Dine in or carry out. Delivery after 5 p.m. by simply calling 788-2011 or quick and easy online at pizzajohnsderby.com. Pizza John's.
After 44 years as Shire Signs, Park City's Shire Signs is now Shire Graphics, with the highest quality of big truck and fleet logos, as well as vinyl decals and other vehicle graphics. Shire Graphics will still provide the highest quality of those items, and now is leading the area in digitally printed vehicle wraps. Superior quality digital vehicle graphics from Shire Graphics. Our niche is your need in vehicle graphics, from single vehicle to fleet. Shire Graphics at shiregraphics.com.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
29 people have died in the massive Camp Fire in and around Paradise, California, matching the deadliest wildfire in state history. That brings the death toll from fires this past week to 31 statewide, with 2 fires also still blazing away around Los Angeles. Scott McLean reports President Trump has criticized California fire efforts.
President Trump, for his part, he's approved a disaster declaration for California, but he also tweeted blaming gross mismanagement of forests for California's wildfire problems. The governor responded saying, look, forestry management, it's only part of the issue here. The much bigger issue is climate change and what to do about that.
In Paris this morning, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has become the first Western leader to acknowledge his country's intelligence agencies have listened to recordings of the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Stocks are narrowly mixed ahead of Wall Street's opening bell this morning, with the Dow and S&P futures down slightly, the Nasdaq up slightly. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Spears Restaurant and Pie Shop at the northeast corner of Town West Mall on Maple. Getting it right for over 60 years. Spears Restaurant and Pie Shop.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. 50-50 chance of snow before lunch. Mostly cloudy and 30. Blustery with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy but clearing. Low 14. Wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:06, it's currently 30 degrees.
It's time for Reason.
Now we can move forward and we can do something really fantastic here. If we can light the fire under our legislature, if we can get Republicans on board to do the right thing, to not play wishy-washy politics, to not coddle to the education special interests, maybe we can get our budget under control. We're now prepared to understand that everything we do, we have to do with a supermajority to override her veto, because she's going to veto just about everything that the legislature does.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray. We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again.
I don't know whether I should start introducing the Christmas music on the program or not, because boy, oh boy, look at it outside. It actually looks kind of neat. Looking out the big window here, where it's kind of dreary and overcast, kind of snowy, a little bit eerie, I don't know. But the fact that we got so much snow already at the beginning of November is a little bit wild. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 2 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are on TV as well, KGPT TV, channel 2610. Good morning. Welcome aboard. It's great to have you today on a Monday. Yeah, we are waking you up, setting the tone for not only today, but for the whole week. I know today's a federal holiday. Maybe you have the day off. Maybe you hopefully don't have to go to work in this crazy snow. But nonetheless,
Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
There it is, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, we'd love to hear from you today. Coming up in hour number 3, we have Gerard Lamiero. GreatNewsForAmerica.com is his website. More Great News for America is the latest book. He's working on another one as well with his predictions that he always has for election time. We'll get his recap on how the midterm elections went in his mind, along with going into the 2020 election and the outlook of our political forecast for the next couple of years. So it'll be kind of interesting. Looking forward to chatting with him as usual. But until then, it is open lines to you at 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. And with that, let's start off hour number 2 with a phone call, shall we? Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name?
You and your caller, Carl.
Yes.
And the white trash in the White House either just don't know the law or don't know how to do their own research. All you have to do is read U.S. Code number 1158, asylum.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. Goodbye.
Would you like to read it for us?
Well, I don't know why you can't read it yourself. Why should you believe what I say?
Well, it's okay. Well, put it into context for us here. For those that didn't listen, in hour number 1, we read the story about how President Trump is trying to tighten up the rules a little bit to where you can still claim asylum for these caravan members coming up to the border, but he's trying to tighten it up a little bit to where if they come across the border illegally and they cross the border when they're not supposed to, then they won't have the opportunity to claim asylum because, they came into the country illegally and they broke the law. So we're going to get rid of because historically what happens...
If you read that code, you'd know that's not true. He can't not do that. That would be breaking... The white trash in the White House would be breaking the law.
See, that's what we're trying. Look, here, Barack Obama broke the law half the time when he chose not to enforce certain things as well. So, I mean,
if it was in specified in U.S. Code, Congress, he couldn't have done it.
It comes down to, it comes down to the executive branch on what they choose to enforce and not choose to enforce. Barack Obama began his whole catch and release process, which is against immigration policy as well. I'm curious because if you say that I need to read it and understand it, then let's talk about the context of it and what's going to happen because
after you've read it, I will.
So hold on. So you think that it is okay, and regardless of what the law says or doesn't say there, and what they're going to enforce or does?
No, we're not going to say regardless of law.
Well, let's set that aside for just a second here, and let's get your thought. If someone comes across the border illegally, they're with the caravan. There's a channel right here. There's a big door. It says, here's where you come in to say that you want to claim asylum. We'll hold you. We'll feed you. We house you while we do the process. And they choose not to do that, but they choose to jump the fence 100 yards down the road, and they get caught doing so, that it's okay for them to say, oh, you know what? I'm claiming asylum. I just didn't want to wait in line, and that we have to take them in. You think that that's okay?
No, the U.S. Code thinks that's okay, and you don't care what I think. You make that obvious.
I do care what you think.
Well, then why are you calling me names all the time? Goodbye.
All right. Appreciate it. Don't know when I've called you a name, but appreciate the call very much. Look, again, if the law says that, which I don't think it does, and we will bring up the code that you mentioned, if they do bring up the fact that you can come into the country illegally, then claim asylum, then that needs to be changed. And that's what President Trump is working on. And a federal code is something that he'd be able to choose to enforce or not to enforce as the executive branch and the head of the executive branch. That's the point that I'm making, is Barack Obama and George W. Bush and Bill Clinton and George H.W. Bush and Ronald Reagan, as all as the heads of the executive branch, have the ability to choose what they enforce or not to enforce, which is why having crazy amounts of laws is completely absurd and ridiculous. This is what's happened under the executive branch for a really long time. There's nothing new here. So President Trump saying, you know what, I don't like that idea. If you want to come into the country and you want the asylum seeking, then you can have the opportunity for asylum seeking. But if you break the law and come across the border illegally, and if we catch you, then you try and claim asylum, then that's not going to fly anymore. We're going to change that, and we're going to fix that, and we're going to make it better because I have the opportunity to do so. Now, the courts, as you mentioned, will try and block that because, well, this is federal code, and how dare you try and change that? But come on. If that's the case, then let's change the federal code because that is a stupid law. Because if you want to come in and you have good intentions, then you will wait in line outside the asylum building for us to house you and to feed you and to take care of you when we go through the process, and not try and cross the fence. And then if you get caught, to be like, oh, sorry, it's asylum. Parlay, you can't touch me. Come on. Come on. No society should run that way. No society should run that way. I don't know when I've called you a name, but okay. 316-721-8255. Let's go to the phones here. Line number 2. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, this is Kirk.
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hey, I think your last caller needs to go find asylum somewhere else.
I don't know when I've called him a name, and I don't know why we think that, well, it's federal code, so therefore it's a done deal. That can be changed, as they do often in many cases for numerous different topics in different categories.
Yeah, well, I think either if he's not going to have some of those people in his house, tell him to go find a house in another country.
Sure.
That's all I'd say.
Well, I agree with that one. Kirk, I appreciate it very much. Happy Monday. Safe travels out there on the road this morning. 316-721-8255. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's federal law. You gotta abide by it. That's it. End of story. Can we change it? No, you can't change it. That's what he's trying to do. Federal guidelines, federal laws. Yeah, they're there. Should we change them? Probably. And I'd still question that. Yeah, we'll read the code. Sure, let's read the code. But no nation would just say, yeah, if you come in across illegally, then that means any illegal immigrant that's in the country right now, the 30 million plus that we are anticipating or guessing that are here, if they get caught, then would say, oh, asylum. Any of them could, potentially, that have been here for 20, 30 years. Hey, you broke the law. Your Visa card expired. Asylum. Is that what you can do? Really? 316-721-8255. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's all about the interpretation of these. And, of course, the ones on the leftist side of the aisle would like to say that anybody that wants to come here can, and even if they cross the border illegally and they break the law, then they still have an opportunity to be here. As long as they say the right word, they have the protected status, and no one can touch them because they're precious, innocent individuals, and we just can't touch them, right? Yeah, let's go back to the phones. Line number 2. Good morning. What's your name?
Mike.
Hey, good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you, sir?
Hey, living the dream every day.
I just wanted to point out, if they're coming over the border illegally and don't come through the asylum process, are they really there or coming here to claim asylum?
Right. And that's the big question. Why, if they are here and there's a big door that says, you know what, here's where you go to fill out your asylum processing, and everybody's going through there, and we're housing you, and we're feeding you, and we're letting the process go through to decide whether you're going to come into the country or not, and you're waiting in that line, why in the world would you go a mile down the road and say, you know what, I'm just going to jump the fence because I'm so desperate to get in that I'm going to do whatever it takes, so I'm going to come in illegally now, and then if I get caught, then I'll claim the process, and then I'll just go back to where I started in the first place. Come on.
Yep. Exactly.
If you're going to break the law, then you apparently don't have the best intentions to come into the country in the first place. Thanks, Mike, for the call very much. Got to take a break here. 16 minutes past the hour. Okay. Apparently, we can just let anybody in at any time as long as they say the keyword. What's the password? It's like the kids in the playground or kids in the castle that they make or their cardboard boxes. What's the password to get in? Parlay. No. Asylum. Okay, come on in. Okay. What's the password? What's the passcode? Then we can't touch you after that. 17 minutes past the hour. This is the Voice of Reason.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Ag News from Mid-America Ag Network. I'm Craig Mead. Antibiotic resistance is a growing problem for both human and animal health communities, and a leading voice in that matter says it's time to stop pointing fingers and start finding solutions. Steve Solomon is a specially trained doctor who has spent a career investigating some of the globe's most pressing infectious diseases. Over the last 35 years, he spent time at the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, first as part of the Epidemic Intelligence Service, then later as head of the government's campaign to combat antibiotic-resistant bacteria. These days, he helps private industry work to solve what he believes is one of our greatest threats, often with help from an unlikely partner, agriculture.
This is a massive, massive problem. And if we're too siloed, we cannot solve this problem. We need human medical doctors talking to veterinarians. We need people in the pharmaceutical industry working much more closely with people in agriculture.
Antibiotic resistance has grown in complexity for both human and animal medicine since Solomon first began working on the problem at CDC in the early 1980s. By the time he took the helm of its antimicrobial resistance office 3 decades later, the world had changed.
The number of new antibiotics coming along had essentially dried up in the previous 10 to 15 years. All around the world, people were coming out of poverty in lower and lower middle income countries. Well, when people have just a little bit more money, they want access to better health care. They want access to antibiotics.
He says the other thing they want access to is animal protein. Solomon says there have been recent gains in research and diagnostic tools to help doctors and veterinarians better prescribe antibiotics, but he says much work remains, and finger-pointing between human and animal health communities only works to confuse the issue. Ag News, Mid-America Ag Network.
Hi, Rudy Maxa here, and every Sunday, Robert and Mary Carey and I ask that you join us for America's #1 travel radio show. Each week, we'll bring you a mix of travel decision makers and industry experts.
So join the Travel Trio for topical travel talk, inside scoop, and compelling journeys that can only be found on Rudy Maxa's World with the Careys, or engage us anytime online at RM World Travel.
Rudy Maxa's Travel World, Sunday at 10 a.m. on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses from Derby Mattress. You consumers have validated what the experts have already known. Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattresses outlast the memory foams, and Derby Mattress customers have reported back the best night's sleep ever. Cooler, better, more comfortable sleep, and right now at Derby Mattress, with the purchase of your Pure Talalay Bliss Latex mattress, a free basic adjustable base. Simmons Beauty Rest and Serta Eye Comfort on sale now too. Derby Mattress, 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Is your truck decked out?
At Continental Truck Accessories, we now carry the new pickup bed storage systems from Decked.
Keep your hunting gear, work tools, or whatever dry, secure, and organized, and easily accessible,
while still allowing your full bed use.
With our professional no-drill installation, we make it easy and convenient.
This is a secure, dry solution for hunters, outdoorsmen, or anyone
that just wants to store their gear in an organized, secure, and dry manner.
So head down to our showroom at 6701 South Broadway and check out the Decked storage system.
Fall has a certain feel to it, like no other. And if you're the type of person that likes to get things done outside, there's nothing like the feel of steel in your grip to get the job done. Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays has perhaps the best selection of steel power equipment in western Wichita, maybe south central Kansas. Check out the steel products that have earned the most praise from owners like you at Pride Ag Ace Hardware of Mays, 5204 North Mays Road, where we take pride in serving you.
There it is, Black Friday, and I know everybody has a sale.
But at Rusty Eck Ford, our sales are always bigger.
Now through November 30th, get up to 30% off a new Ford Focus. Ford Escape, 25% off, or choose 0% for $72 and $1,000 back. F-150 XLTs up to 25% off, or our exclusive 0 for $72.
So come gobble up the savings at Rusty Eck Ford. If you don't come and see us today, we can't save you any money.
Sometimes you just have to go, sometimes. 21 minutes past the hour. Welcome back in. 316-721-8255. I don't like you calling me names with the president's white trash. Oh, okay. By the way, the law, according to Cornell University, Title 8 of the U.S. Code, Chapter 12, Subchapter 1, Part 1, when it comes to eligibility for asylum, conditions for granting asylum, Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General may grant asylum to an alien who has applied for asylum in accordance with the requirements and procedures established by the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General under this section if the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General determine that such an alien is a refugee with the meaning of the section, with burden of proof, sustaining burden, credibility determination, and the vetting process. That, again, let me read that so that way we can't say, well, they can come across the border illegally, and then when they get caught illegally because they broke the law, they didn't go through the normal process, then all of a sudden they can say the magic word of asylum, and then they get protected. Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General may grant asylum to an alien who has applied for asylum in accordance with the requirements and procedures established by the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General. If they've applied for asylum and they met the requirements and they followed the procedures, then they may be approved to be a refugee or an asylum, or may be granted asylum, according to the Secretary of State or Secretary of Homeland Security and the Attorney General. So I may be reading that wrong. And if I am, then you can call back in and correct me on where it actually says that they can just say it at any time and any place, and then all of a sudden, poof, the magic wand happens, the fairy dust sprinkles around them, and they're protected with the asylum status. And we can go in a little bit further. Burden of proof. The burden of proof is the applicant or the establishment of the application is a refugee within the meaning of the section. To establish the applicant is a refugee with the meaning of such section, the applicant must establish that race, religion, nationality, membership, or a particular social group or political opinion was or will be at least one central reason for persecution of the applicant. So you have to prove it. You can't just say it, poof, the magical fairy dust, there it is, asylum! And you get protected that way. It doesn't work that way. You have to prove it. Then you have to have the credibility determination to where, under the circumstances, they may be based on credibility determination for the demeanor, candor, or responsiveness of the applicant or witness, the inherent plausibility of the applicant or witness's account, the consistency between the applicant or witness's written and oral statements, the internal consistency of each statement, the consistency of each statement with the other evidence on record, and any other inaccuracies or falsehoods in such statement without regard to whether an inconsistency, inaccuracy, or falsehood goes to the heart of the applicant's claim. There it is. Right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Title 8, Chapter 12, Subchapter 2 of the U.S. Code on Immigration and Asylum Seeking. But you have to go through the process. You actually have to apply. You have to follow the requirements, and you have to follow the procedures given by the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General. And I'm guessing that if you jump the fence a mile down the road and try and come in illegally, then you're not applying for the asylum, you're not following the requirements, or you're not going through the procedures that are established. That's just my guess. I could be wrong there, but that's just my guess. Let's go to the phones here. 316-721-825. But it's open for interpretation. Yeah. It's open for interpretation. There you go. Let's go. Let's lump it up to that one. Line number one. Good morning. What's your name?
This is Jim.
Hey, good morning, Jim. How are you?
Real good, Andy.
Good.
Hey, the caller to use the word white trash, he must be racist because that's a racist call right there.
Sure. Well, it's name calling, but apparently I've name called him at some point, which I don't remember doing so, but we can call the president names.
Yeah. Hey, also, if the socialists in this country think capitalism's so bad, why is everybody trying to get in here?
It's a great question.
The conservatives should start using that all the time and letting that out. If you Democrats think it's so bad here, why is everybody trying to get here?
Well, let's take it a step further. Why are they trying to come in when President Donald Trump is the president right now that is spewing hate, that is spewing racism, and that doesn't like people with certain skin colors, but yet they're trying to come into the country under his reign right now? You would think that they'd be running as far away from this country as they possibly could.
Yeah. Sure appreciate your show, Andy.
Hey,
hang in there, brother.
Hey, thanks very much. Have a great Monday. Safe travels to you this morning on your way about. Line number 2, let's go back to the phones here. Good morning. What's your name? Hello.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got me back on line 2. Hey, listen, the good thing about this weather, I haven't seen a mosquito all weekend.
You know what? That is very true.
And my car had anti-spinning tire device 50 years ago. It was used by not pressing hard on that oblong pedal on the right side. And I was aware that my car only had 4 brakes on 4 wheels, whether I had 4-wheel drive or not. And, I learned how to drive on 2 inches of ice. And this is fun to drive in as long as you're smart enough.
Exactly. As long as you know how to actually drive in it, then it is actually entertaining to be able to drive. And you're right. As I mentioned, I did a little bit of sliding, but it's the controlled slide. You know you're not going to go anywhere, and you're all just fine. And I don't know if we practice that anymore, do we?
I don't think they teach it. I mean, they barely teach people how to back up and parallel park.
How many people still do a 3-point park on the, do a parallel parking?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a driver's test for 60 years almost.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, too. I wonder, I'd be curious. I know there's a lot of nations that are very rigorous on their testing, and they have to drive in the snow, they have to drive in the rain, they have to drive at nighttime, they have to drive during the daytime, and they have to go through all the different seasons and so on and so in order to get their driver's license. I'd be curious if we ended up expanding that a little bit instead of saying, oh, the first snow's here, we forgot how to drive in the snow today.
Well, snow causes Alzheimer's.
snow causes Alzheimer's? What?
Yeah, people forget how to drive.
I like that. I like it, Jim. Appreciate that very much. 316-721-8255. I don't know. Maybe it causes a paranoia of. I mean, the snow is white, so I mean, it's probably the fear of racism as well. The white supremacists are taking over. Donald Trump has taken over the nation, and not only has he taken over the nation, he's covered the nation in white for his sign of white supremacy. Yeah. And as he says that he's a nationalist and believes in the country first and believes in America first instead of the global government, as he mentioned the difference between nationalism and globalism and the globalists, then you know what? Maybe it is the sign of his white nationalism beginning to spew into the streets, literally, with white snow. I wonder. I don't know. See, this is the reason why they're up in arms today. They're a little paranoid because they see the snow, and it's happening a little bit earlier than usual, or at least the last couple of seasons. So therefore, it is absolutely a positive sign that global warming has caused the weather to warm up so much that now it's cooling off and snowing, and that is a sign of heartless Republicans not taking care of the environment, and now it's a sign of white supremacy really spewing everywhere with the white snow that is falling. I think we need to change our age, we need to change our gender, and now we also need to change snow into not being white anymore. We could turn it yellow and have a lot of dogs outside, and then we can say, you know, don't eat the yellow snow. But then it won't be white, so therefore white nationalism won't be seeping into our own grounds. Welcome to the world in 2018. Bottom of the hour news coming up. Lots more to get to. This is The Voice of Reason.
Now back to the KQAM News Desk.
It's the deadliest wildfire in California history. 29 killed in the Butte County Camp Fire up north. And CAL FIRE Chief of Public Information Scott McLean tells us over 200 people remain missing.
These individuals could be in a motel. They could be a friend's house. They could be in the shelters. The Sheriff's Department in this county is aggressively pursuing those individuals to see who, what, where, and when.
With 2 fires also burning around Los Angeles, killing 2 people there, 300,000 people statewide have evacuated their homes. The Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel reports Nicholas Cruz, the man accused of gunning down 17 people at a Florida high school last February, registered to vote while behind bars awaiting trial. Andrew Pollock, the father of a victim, blasted Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel for allowing it, but Cruz hasn't been convicted of a crime and was eligible to vote. All of Florida's 67 counties have until Thursday to finish recounting votes in the state's 2 close-to-call races for governor and U.S. Senate. I'm Michael Toscano.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services.
800-316-4761. That's 800-316-4761. 800-316-4761.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Monday. Major damage to a Topeka apartment complex from a weekend fire, and authorities are working to determine the cause of that fire. Just before 7:30 Saturday evening, fire crews responded to the 2-alarm structure fire in Topeka. Upon arrival, fire crews reported flames and heavy smoke coming from the large 3-story apartment building. Hutchinson Post reports all occupants self-evacuated safely. The estimated structural loss was set at $40,000. The American Red Cross was on scene to assist those displaced by the fire. Authorities are investigating a possible murder-suicide near a suburban Kansas City park. Police say in a Facebook post that 2 bodies were found yesterday near Riverfront Park in western Shawnee, Kansas. The discovery was made while officers were responding to a request from Kansas City, Missouri police to check on the welfare of a person thought to be endangered. Mid-America Network News.
Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. Time to load up and head to Mound Ridge for the Christmas Arts and Craft Fair, Saturday, November 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greer Auditorium. November 17th, 9 to 2 for the Mound Ridge Christmas Arts and Craft Fair.
You don't put your dirty socks back in the drawer or dirty dishes back in the cupboard, do you? Well, you shouldn't put your dirty lawnmower away for the winter either, especially when Maximum Outdoor Equipment is offering a winter service special, which includes everything your mower needs to be clean, sharpened, ready to go, and ready to mow next spring. As an incentive to get your mower in before the rush, Maximum Outdoor is offering your choice of early bird winter service discounts through December 29th. 25% off on winter service labor or free pickup and delivery within a 25-mile radius. See full details on our winter service specials and the early bird discounts available through December 29th. Online at MaximumOutdoor.com or give us a call at 316-943-0201. At Maximum Outdoor Equipment, we won't wash your socks or your dishes, but we'd love to clean and service your mower and get it ready for spring. Maximum Outdoor Equipment, just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Maximum service, maximum value, Maximum Outdoor Equipment.
Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. Time to load up and head to Mound Ridge for the Christmas Arts and Craft Fair, Saturday, November 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greer Auditorium. November 17th, 9 to 2 for the Mound Ridge Christmas Arts and Craft Fair.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. 50-50 chance of snow before lunch. Mostly cloudy and 30. Blustery with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight mostly cloudy but clearing. Low 14. Wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour. I'm Amp Harrell and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 7:35, it's currently 29 degrees.
This segment of The Voice of Reason on KQAM brought to you by Riverside Cafe, home of the 3-pound burger and hand-cut fries, plus breakfast all day long. 2 Wichita locations and 824 North Baltimore in Derby. Riverside Cafe. Your home for entertaining radio.
This is your fault, too, man. I keep missing Rush Limbaugh's morning update every morning because I'm listening to your show.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Oh, the travesty. See, I can see it right now. You're sitting at the parking lot of your work, ready to go in. You are getting ready for work, trying to get in the shower, start your day, Richard. You're thinking, you know, I can't stop listening. Can't stop listening, baby. We love it. We love it. 316-721-8255. We are on radio. We are on TV. We are on YouTube as well. We're all over the world. On YouTube Live right now at youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio. Subscribe to it. We've had a couple subscriptions just this morning already. We always fluctuate up and down as people are tuning in, tuning out, heading to work, doing their thing. But just go on there. You can leave a comment. You can say good morning. We'd love to hear from you. Chime in on whatever conversation we're having for the time as well. And usually I can see those pretty easily, or you can still comment on social media as well. The KQAM page, Voice of Reason page, does not matter. Welcome aboard on a Monday. By the way, Veterans Day yesterday. We will do a little Veterans Day tribute coming up before the end of the show as well to give our thanks. We are the most patriotic show on radio. We will definitely give our kudos, our thoughts and prayers to all of our veterans, what they go through coming home, what they've had to go through, what they struggle with now, and how we can take care of our veterans. It's always important for us, and we always thank our men and women in uniform, past and present, of what they're doing to serve for our nation. Again, you want to feel all teary-eyed and nationalistic-like, just think about the men and women fighting for our right to be an American. The greatest place in the world to be is America, and that's the way that we're going to continue to actually represent. We're not going to represent the United Nations in national or globalism. We're not going to represent the United Nations or an international government. We're going to represent you and I, the United States, and what we stand for. 316-721-8255. There is, we got some calls on the line real quick here. There is a story. It almost seems like the media is giving Democratic Governor-elect Laura Kelly credit for the economy beginning to tick up. Now, the economy has been ticking up for a while since really Trump got into office, and we got a low unemployment record here in Kansas. We not necessarily haven't gotten a lot of businesses to grow, but we've had raises. We've had salary hikes in Kansas. We've had the economy trying to come back. In 2016 was the negative 0.1%, one of 3 states that we had negative GDP growth. We're starting to come back from that, but projections are starting to look good because the national economy is coming back. And according to KWCH.com, fiscal forecasters on Friday boosted projections for tax collections that are expected during the fiscal year of the next year by $291 million, which is a 4.1% higher than previously expected with their forecast made in April. The state's now expected to collect $7.2 billion in general tax revenue for the fiscal year. Forecasters are also predicting modest growth in tax returns or tax revenue for the fiscal year that begins in July of 2019. Wait, so the economy coming up, we're expected to see tax collections higher. We're expected to see growth in tax revenues a little bit higher. Well, if the tax receipts are coming in higher, then tax revenues will be a little bit higher, and more money is going to be coming into the state. Now, she hasn't done anything yet, and her plan has been, let's sink in more money, and she says she's not going to raise taxes, but she's probably going to raise taxes. But all that money, poof, gone. It's already gone. It's just weird to me how they're writing this, because it seems like they're giving her the credit for the economy ticking up when the national economy has been ticking up for 2 years. We're late on the ball and slow on the ball because we raised taxes in the state and we grew our spending, so we didn't get to experience a lot of that. But now that it's finally coming to Kansas, now she's going to take credit for it? I'm confused. Because here's how they open it, according to KWCH. Democratic Governor-elect Laura Kelly has received good news about the budget picture in Kansas with the release of the new fiscal forecast for the state government. They go on to say Kelly promised during her successful campaign for governor to boost spending on public schools without increasing taxes. Kansas Governor-elect Laura Kelly pledged publicly to avoid increasing taxes, but may have some leeway with voters. May have some leeway. So we're getting more money in. They're giving her the credit for the economy beginning to tick up because it's been ticking up slowly but surely. She gets the credit for it, and then they still have leeway for her to say, you know what, we're going to receive almost $300 million more next year. So we're going to sink all that money into education because that's the number one priority. To hell with trying to save up money. To hell with trying to pay off state debts. To hell with trying to reestablish and replenish like our capers and other things going on in the state. To heck with that. Sink the $300 million into education. We'll barely scratch the tip of what we actually want to sink in there because we don't have enough money in it. And then we can raise taxes a little bit because we have a little bit of leeway. I don't know where the little bit of leeway comes from other than Democrats anticipating that they're going to get tax increases because they like to see tax increases. Very interesting how the media is already reporting on this. Laura Kelly gets elected. The economy turns around in Kansas. The economy coming back in Kansas after Governor-elect Laura Kelly changes things by winking and talking very monotone and quietly because she's a very stern woman like that. It's going to be the next couple fun years, isn't it? 316-721-8255, line number 1. Let's go back to the phones here, shall we? Good morning. What's your name?
Doug.
Hey, good morning, Doug. How are you?
I'm all right. I was just called to call you a few names.
Well, you can call me some names. That's cool.
I'm gonna call you a patriot. All right.
That's a very scary thing. That's a very scary thing.
I know that's dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dirty nowadays. But hey, you hang in there, man. I love your show, and
thank you.
I hope Helen keeps calling. I ain't gonna step on her toes or nothing by quoting scripture, but I love that. I'm starting to like people more and more the more I listen to your show.
Well, thank you.
Because they got some people coming on that talk big sense.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to add one thing.
Sure.
Is we got a frequency. It's not a weapon, but it puts out fires. It's a kind of a frequency weapon that douses fires out. And I was wondering, I know it's developed, and I was wondering why they wasn't using it in California. If you have any ideas.
That's a really interesting. Did you just share that onto the Facebook page there?
My son. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I briefly saw it a little bit. It's kind of an interesting thing. Now I know that it was just recently invented, but you're right. Maybe with some of the technology coming out, maybe there's opportunities to be able to use this type of technology. I don't know. I think that Donald Trump has just shunned California. He didn't spread his white snow / white supremacy into California, and therefore the snow wasn't able to put out the fires. What do you think?
Yeah, well, that might be true. Trump really messes everything up.
That is true. Yes. There you go. I love it.
Doug,
right, you're one of those great callers, my friend, and you're just as much of a patriot. We appreciate that very much, and keep up the good fight. Safe travels out there on the roads this morning. 316-721-8255, line number 2. Let's go back to it here. Good morning. What's your name?
My name is Eddie.
Good morning, Eddie. How are you, sir?
Well, today is a Veterans Day, and I'm a veteran. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. And I want to say something deep in my heart about this invasion from Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In 1951, I had a brother that was 20 years old, and he was in the Korean War. And the North Koreans went over the 38th parallel and invaded the South Koreans.
Sure.
And he was killed up there on May 21st of 51.
Mm.
And so all these people that think that it's so wonderful to let people invade, we have gone to war, and our soldiers have died preventing other countries from invading other countries.
Sure.
But when it's our country alone right here, hey, we don't care.
Yeah, I don't understand why we think that it's okay just to let anybody waltz in. And you're right, this caravan is an invasion. 7,000 people convening together and say we're going to all come up as one, run and hosted and organized by a political group, No Borders, Citizens Without Borders, and funded by somebody. I mean, they have to have the money to be able to fund all these individuals to come up, breaking through the Mexican border on the southern end, breaking through the gates. The military and the police of Mexico not doing anything but monitoring and watching these individuals. Mexico, by the way, did also offer refugee status and asylum for these individuals as well, so that way they could stay there. Only like 1,000 people ended up accepting that, while the rest of them came up to, or still continuing to come up to the country here. This is an invasion, and as you mentioned, we fought, we've died, we've spilled blood all over the world defending nations from having invaders come into their nation, and yet we just allow it to waltz right into our country, even to the point to where, as one of the callers earlier in the hour mentioned, that even if you break the law, you jump the fence, you come in illegally, then you get the nice little safe word of asylum, and all of a sudden you get protected even if you came in here illegally and we catch you doing so. Then apparently it's just okay and we can let you waltz in and we can protect you. I don't understand it. Why do we even have that's not common sense in any way, shape, or form. Why would we allow something like that to happen?
Well, mainly because about 10, 15, 20 years ago, we decided that we didn't like saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school. We didn't like this. We didn't like this. And so the young people from today have not, or they're not young anymore, they're in their 30s, have not learned to love this country, have not learned to appreciate this country.
Nor do they understand what we've gone through in the past.
Right. And so it's, once these people get to the United States, what are they going to do? Do they have any skills, any marketable skills? Apparently not. And I am not against the Mexican people. I think the Mexican people are beautiful people, the ones that I know, the ones I come in contact with in stores. But you have to do it legally. And that is something that what's even worse, they're encouraged by people to come here illegally.
Right. They're encouraged, very much so.
That is so sad.
And look, I mean, we can talk about reforms in the immigration process. We can talk about the expense of it. We can talk about the long waiting line. We can talk about the different visa cards that you can get, the student visa, the work visa. We can talk about the difficulty in that process and how, maybe we should reform that and get it streamlined a little bit. But we're not talking about any of that with this caravan. We're talking about the asylum seeking, to where all you have to do is say asylum, and you go through the process. You talk about how you were persecuted in your own country, and as long as you follow that and you walk through that door appropriately, then all's fine. We take care of your housing. We take care of your food. We take care of a job. We take care of education for you and your children. We take care of all this by just saying the word asylum, and then we still have individuals trying to cross the border illegally, and apparently they get protected too. I don't get that. I mean, it's a very simple, easy process to get asylum. Why wouldn't you just wait in line an extra day in order to receive that?
Well, Apparently because people have never been taught. Well, okay.
I think they have alternative ideas or alternative agendas.
If I was down there in Mexico and heard American politicians, respectable American politicians say, "Come on over, we're going to take care of you," that's an invitation instead of standing with our rules and our regulations and our law.
Sure.
But they don't.
Well.
Anyway, I heard you say that you want to be older. Andy, you don't want to be older. Seriously. Andy, seriously, take it from a 73-year-old man, and I've always been this my entire life. But you're 30 years old. Enjoy every day that you're 30. When you're 31, enjoy every day that you're 31. And at the end of your life, whatever it is, you're going to be so happy.
All I'm saying is that if you can change your age, if you can now that you can change your gender apparently, and as the Dutch man has done over the weekend and tried to file that court case in the Netherlands about trying to change his age from 69 to 49, I don't know. Maybe it's time we all just start saying that we self-identify as a retired individual, and that way we can enjoy the social benefits of that. And although, I don't know, if you're 71, Eddie, then you could try to self-identify as a 31-year-old, and then you could relive it, right? I mean, come on. We can change our age now, apparently, because of age discrimination, and then you can go pick up young girls on Tinder, apparently, which is what this guy wanted to do. Appreciate it very much, Eddie, by the way. Thank you for your service and for the service of everybody in your family and for your brother that ended up passing in the line of duty. Again, Veterans Day, a very, very important day to remember what we've gone through there, so we appreciate that very much, and thank you for your service. Let's sneak in one more phone call before a break here, shall we? Line number 3. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning, brother. It's Joe.
Joe, what's going on, sir?
Oh, not much. Hey, just to tag on to Eddie's deal real quick, and I got something else. But last week or the weekend before, Border Patrol caught 450 people jumping the wall in either El Paso or San Diego. So the invasion still happens every day, regardless. But this is just a big invasion that's being caught by the news.
Sure.
Anyway, I'll let that go. You're sitting here going, how are they giving Kelly all this positive feedback when she just got elected? She hasn't done anything, right? But we know that the mainstream media is left-leaning socialist. They want all this social stuff to happen because that's who they're owned by. So you shouldn't be surprised at all that Kelly all of a sudden is getting all the praise for the new taxes coming in. That we're going to have this $300 million increase all of a sudden. You shouldn't be shocked at all, Andy.
Well, I mean, come on, you're right. I mean, Sam Brownback, he's been in there, and even though we had negative GDP growth, we had a very, very low unemployment rate, and we've tried to do the best of what we could with the taxes that we did retroactively in the state to be able to at least keep our head above water. We tried to do what we could. Now, you're right, she comes in, she just blows wind and says, hey, we're going to spend more money on education, expand health care, and it's going to be fantastic. And all of a sudden, now, poof, look at that. Tax receipts coming up, and bam, it's all her, and she's going to be doing great things, and she can sink more money into education now.
So I'm curious how the spin's going to be when she starts increasing taxes and we go broke because they start throwing so much money at the school system that how's the media going to spin it that way that it's positive for us and her that now all of a sudden we're spending huge amounts of money.
Well, sure. You're right. It's all going to be, and we're not going to see any time of it. We're not going to get it back. It's not going to be a relief to us. It's not going to be any better. It's just going to be, oh, look, the government got more money. They can do more good stuff now because they can spend more money on education. Then all of a sudden we'll see all the success stories, quote unquote, according to the media, of the education system. Joe, love it. Appreciate the phone call very much, my friend. Got to take a break. Wrapping up hour number 2. Lots more to get to here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. A tough day in the futures markets for cattle on Friday. Live cattle futures posted $1 to $2.07 losses in most front months on Friday. December was down 2.14% on the week. Feeder cattle futures also saw sharp losses of $1 to $2.50. The CME Feeder Cattle Index was down 60 cents November 8th at 151.63. Wholesale boxed beef prices were slightly lower in the Friday afternoon report. Choice boxes were down 87 cents at $215.20. Select boxes were 39 cents lower at $198.72. USDA estimated federally inspected cattle slaughter 640,000 head last week. That's down 3,000 head from the previous week. Lean hog futures were mixed Friday. Most front months were lower. Nearby December was up 17.5 cents on the day, but down 4% on the week. The CME Lean Hog Index down 34 cents from the previous day at 63.38 on November 7th. USDA pork carcass cutout value was down $1.30 at $70.27 in the Friday afternoon report. The National Base Hog Carcass Price reported a weighted average of $53.35. That's down 97 cents from the day before. Weekly federally inspected hog slaughter estimated at 2.589 million head. That's up 3,000 head from the previous week. Refocusing now, corn, soybeans, KC wheat. Corn futures are trading 1.5 to a penny higher this morning after being 3 to 4 cents lower at the close on Friday. Soybeans are 3 to 4 cents lower after posting 7 to 8.5 cent gains on Friday. And wheat futures are currently 4 to 5 cents higher in Chicago. The other two markets are a bit less enthusiastic, unchanged to 2 cents higher. If we look at where we are this moment, December corn is up 3/4 cent at 3.70.5. December KC wheat up 3/4 at 4.88 1/4. March is up 1 1/4 at 5.10 1/2. So KC wheat is on a bit of a rally here. November's soybeans down 3 1/4, currently at 8.72. January down 3 at 8.83 3/4. Markets from Mid-America Ag Network.
It's full of comic legends.
What TV series featured Tinky Winky and Poe?
To Catch a Predator. Wall-to-wall laughs.
In Greek mythology, the goddess of virginity is who?
Lying.
It's the comedy game show.
In reference to the drugstore chain, what does CVS stand for?
Condoms, Viagra, and snacks.
Watch all the comedy on Funny You Should Ask.
Weekdays at 2 on Fox, Kansas.
Hey, Mark Walters with Armed American Radio, and I want to tell you about Rob's Gun Tech and Firearms. They're the dealer to buy, sell, trade, and even consign. Budget to high-end custom firearms, ammo, accessories. They've got it all and feature Wilson Combat, Guncrafters Industries, and Nighthawk Custom. Have a request? Work with their in-house gunsmith, find the right solution for you. Rob's Gun Tech offers pricing programs and discounts and proudly gives back to the Veterans Suicide Network. Learn more today at robsguntechandfirearms.com or visit them just east of 159th North on East Kellogg, where they know more than just the price.
5 minutes at the top of the hour. Welcome back into the Voice of Reason right here on the Big Talker, KQAM. Rolling right along, waking you up the best way we know how to do so. This portion of the Voice of Reason, as it is every Monday, brought to you by the AARP, whether it's the Fraud Watch Network, Retirement Calculator, getting involved in the community. Check them out, aarp.org/KS for the state of Kansas. As we have Marin Turner back on the line with us here this morning. Good morning, Marin. How are you today?
Well, it's a snowy day, and it's cold, but I'm okay. How are you?
It is very snowy and very cold, and it's very different from what we've seen the last couple of years at this time of the year. I don't think last year we got our first snow till, I want to say, end of December or like January.
Well, certainly nothing like this, so what a surprise.
What a surprise indeed. Well, now that the election's all over, I know you guys have been working on holiday stuff, and it's a crazy time all the time with the holidays, with the scams that go on, with trying to keep yourself protected. What are you guys working on right now as we go into the end of the year?
Well, we are working on a number of things, and right now, as we continue to celebrate the contributions of veterans and their families, we want to make sure everyone knows that AARP has a number of resources available. So, for example, we know that there are all kinds of scams out there that target military veterans and their families, which is just absolutely disgusting. But we have some tips on how you can spot some of these charities. Now, there are a lot of charities out there that do good, but you have to be careful. You have to do your research. Just because a charity says that it is looking to benefit veterans or they have veterans in their title doesn't mean that they are a legitimate a charity. So you have to check them out. We want you to feel safe online, so make sure you don't use a gift card. You should use a credit card instead. So if there's a problem, you can get your money back. We also want to make sure that veterans and military families know that we have information about how to access your earned benefits. Many people need help navigating red tape to get benefits from the Department of Veteran Affairs, And so we are teaming up with local agencies to make sure that military veterans and their families know exactly what they need to do to get those benefits. We have worked with the Elizabeth Dole Foundation to create a Prepare to Care guide for caregiving. It's specifically targeted to military veterans and their families because we know that they are caregivers, just like others are, but we have some specific information and tips that will help military vets. And then we also have information about, how do you navigate the Medicare and Social Security system. There may be some questions there. You may have questions on how do you transition from military service to private life in terms of finding a job. We have those services as well. So, again, AARP appreciates and supports veterans and their families. We have to do more than thank them. We have to help them, and that's why AARP is here. You can find out more information on our website at www.aarp.org, or if you want to call our state office, you can do that at 1-866-448-3619. We'd love to talk to you about some of the things we're doing to support vets and their families.
Absolutely, and I tell you, as you mentioned before, it is very difficult sometimes for some of these veterans to be able to do the transition from military into public life, or to be able to get a job. They have great experience and they have a lot of times great traits that they've learned in the military. It's just the matter of us understanding that, seeing that, and be able to help them out when it comes to jobs in the area. So it's a really great opportunity to be able to learn about what we can do and what they can do all at the same time.
Absolutely, and again, we have so many resources, everything from education and training to healthcare information on home loans, compensation for vets, just lots of information. So again, I invite people to log on to our website, www.aarp.org, or call us at 1-866-448-3619. Again, we'd love to talk about some of the things we're doing to support veterans. Not just thanking them, but to support them as well.
Exactly. I love it. Check it out, aarp.org/KS for the state of Kansas. Marin, always a pleasure to talk to you. We'll check in with you again next Monday.
Thanks, Andy.
Always a good time. This portion of The Voice of Reason brought to you by the AARP. Got to take a break. When we come back, hour number 3, we have Gerard Lamiero, Great News for America. Also got some other calls on the line. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to you as soon as we come back. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is a Steckline communication station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Phil's Coins, Kansas's largest coin dealer at 9344 West Central. Phil's Coins, buying, selling, and trading with honesty and integrity.
Good Monday morning. The auction for the Starlight Drive-In in Wichita has been postponed until further notice. KWCH-TV reports that McCurdy Auction announced this morning that the change came at the request of the owners of South Wichita's famed drive-in. Late last week, Wichita Mayor Jeff Longwell made an appeal to the ownership asking if a solution could be found that would keep the drive-in in operation. The auction had been set for tomorrow. Overnight snowfall caused several crashes and slide-offs this morning in and around Wichita and on Kellogg. One of the biggest traffic problems, according to Cake TV, was on westbound Kellogg near Hillside. Shortly before 6 o'clock this morning, there were 2 cars facing oncoming traffic. Wichita police want to remind drivers to pay attention and slow down. The accident reporting plan is in effect in Wichita. That means for accidents to be reported within 24 hours as long as no one is injured and there's no suspicion of drugs or alcohol in the accident. People should exchange information at the site and time of the accident, and then the report itself can be made by picking up a report form at any area Quick Trip or Quick Shop. A 24-year-old man died in a weekend rollover crash in North Sedgwick County. Deputies called to the scene on North Ridge Road just after midnight Friday night, and upon arrival found a vehicle on its roof in the middle of the roadway. Deputies say the car was southbound on Ridge Road when it crashed. The driver pronounced dead at the scene. He's been identified as 24-year-old Aaron Dalton Lupo. Passerbys stopping to help a woman who hit a tree in the 3900 block of East Vesta discovered she had actually been shot. Police responded shortly before 7:30 on Saturday night to the area near 13th and Hillside. The investigation is ongoing, police asking for the public's help with any information. I'm Rick Everett from the news desk. Now with sports, here's Doug Downs.
Yesterday, the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Arizona Cardinals 26-14 in a game that wasn't the Chiefs' best of the season, but a day when the defense showed up with 5 sacks against Arizona and a record-setting day for Patrick Mahomes, which impressed his head coach.
He comes out every day, he's bringing energy, and he's in a position where he can make everybody better around him, and he's doing that.
In college basketball tonight, Kansas will face Vermont. Meanwhile, Kansas State will take on Denver, a game you can hear on KQAM. From the sports desk, I'm Doug Downs.
And one thing you don't want associated with your harvest this year is downtime. Did you know MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 can take care of all harvest-related equipment, combines, tractors, grain carts, and all machinery associated with your successful harvest this year. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge also has on-the-farm emergency service. Roll your harvest worry-free with MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge, Kansas, 800-835-0069.
The following alert is from the AARP Fraud Watch Network.
Attention listeners, have you received your new Medicare card yet? Medicare is sending out new and safer cards that no longer have your Social Security number on them. But beware of callers claiming to be from Medicare who say you need to pay for your card. You need to verify your Social Security number, or you have a balance on your old card and they need your banking information to transfer it to you. These are all scams. All you need to do is wait for your free card to come in the mail. To learn how to protect yourself from frauds and scams, visit aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
After 44 years as Shire Signs, Park City's Shire Signs is now Shire Graphics, with the highest quality of big truck and fleet logos, as well as vinyl decals and other vehicle graphics. Shire Graphics will still provide the highest quality of those items, and now is leading the area in digitally printed vehicle wraps. Superior quality digital vehicle graphics from Shire Graphics. Our niche is your need in vehicle graphics, from single vehicle to fleet. Shire Graphics at shiregraphics.com.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
It's the deadliest wildfire in California history. 29 killed in the Butte County Camp Fire up north. And CAL FIRE Chief of Public Information Scott McLean tells us over 200 people remain missing.
These individuals could be in a motel. It could be a friend's house. It could be in the shelters. The Sheriff's Department in this county is aggressively pursuing those individuals to see who, what, where, and when.
With 2 fires also burning around Los Angeles, killing 2 people there, 300,000 people statewide have evacuated their homes. The Fort Lauderdale Sun-Sentinel reports Nicholas Cruz, the man accused of gunning down 17 people at a Florida high school last February, registered to vote while behind bars awaiting trial. Andrew Pollock, the father of a victim, blasted Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel for allowing it, but Cruz hasn't been convicted of a crime and was eligible to vote. All of Florida's 67 counties have until Thursday to finish recounting votes in the state's 2 close-to-call races for governor and U.S. Senate. I'm Michael Toscano.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM, for this morning. 50-50 chance of snow before lunch. Mostly cloudy and 30. Blustery with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy but clearing. Low 14. Wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
At 8:06, it's currently 29 degrees.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios, this is the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. It's time for Reason.
Now we can move forward and we can do something really fantastic here. If we can light the fire under our legislature, if we can get Republicans on board to do the right thing, to not play wishy-washy politics, to not coddle to the education special interests, maybe we can get our budget under control. We're now prepared to understand that everything we do, we have to do with a supermajority to override her veto, because she's going to veto just about everything that the legislature does.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Then I'll get on my knees and pray.
Good day, I tell you. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, hour number 3. The Voice of Reason on a snowy, cold, global warming-esque type of day here in Wichita, Kansas. Welcome in to hour number 3 of the Voice of Reason on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM, simulcasting as well on TV, KGPT TV channel 2610. We are on YouTube Live as well at youtube.com. Find KQAM Radio, subscribe to it. You can watch the live feed along with watch the podcast of the show every day after the program. We do have all of them on there so you can watch any of the shows that you'd like to do so. Today is a Monday, so let's get you started off the best way, setting the tone for not only for today, but for the entire week. It's going to be a fun one today. It's a cold one, but it's going to be a fun one nonetheless. Let's get it rolling. Come on.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
That's what we do. Welcome in 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, an interesting discussion we've had so far over the last couple hours. We appreciate that. You got some calls on the line. Stay there. We'll get to you in just a minute. But I am excited to get to our next guest as we have him on usually around election time and even in off-election times as we predict what's going to happen in the realm of politics all the time. GreatNewsForAmerica.com is his website. More Great News for America is the latest book, and I know that many more may be coming here very soon. But as we talk about the midterm election, I saw a story from the Kansas City Star that talked about Chris Kobach, Republican candidate for governor. Inside Chris Kobach's losing Kansas campaign, check logic and reason at the door, as they say that this was the most dysfunctional thing I've ever seen in my life. One of the longtime GOP operatives in the state of Kansas had talked about the Chris Kobach campaign, and Chris Kobach says otherwise. It's if we had more money to spend on TV, we could have done so, but no, in terms of the decision-making on how we structured the campaign, I don't think we made any critical errors, according to Chris Kobach. So now the internal battle of the GOP, why Chris Kobach lost the governor's race, especially here in Sedgwick County, where the swing county really was to make or break this election, when at the same time in the same area, we ended up winning more Republican seats. In the primary, we went over 7 seats from moderate Republicans to conservative Tea Party, Freedom Caucus individuals, or Truth Caucus here in Kansas, and why in the general election, we won over 3 seats from Democrat sitting incumbents that have been there for a long time to Republican conservatives. Why we won those, but yet we didn't win the Republican race for the governor, makes you think about what was actually being done in the campaign and how we move forward from here. So now we have this very interesting mixture of a hard right conservative legislature, or harder at least than what it used to be, and a blue Democrat governor. And this seems to be the same trend of what happened nationally as well, as we saw a lot of, it's very fascinating to me why many of the individuals that won in the Senate and in the House of Representatives won by being pro-Trump, and the ones that were trying to distance themselves from Donald Trump are the ones that lost in the races nationally. Now we have a few seats gained in the Senate. Now we have a Democrat majority in the House, and now we have President Trump trying to figure out what to do with a split Congress. To talk about all that and more, again, GreatNewsForAmerica.com is the website. Mr. Gerard Lamiero is back on the line with us here. Gerard, how are you, my friend?
I am doing great, trying to go through all the numbers. There are tons of numbers to figure out what actually happened. This is a strange election in a lot of ways.
It really
and you
is.
pointed out some of the things with the governor's race in Kansas, but, looking around the country, some really strange things have happened and are still happening because of the Broward County in Florida, and they don't seem to know how to count straight down there or something.
Well, and it seems to me like Minnesota or Montana, where they would have all of a sudden, we found some more paper ballots in the trunk of my car. We'll start counting those guys too. And it seems to be what's happening down there in Florida right now. What's the latest that you've heard?
Well, the latest I've heard is that Rick Scott is ahead in the Senate race. I mean, we're trying to, get a more conservative Senate, and he's ahead. But, these mysterious ballots that keep appearing, and then there are all sorts of protocols and processes that were violated, including state law, apparently, because things like ballots were separated from signatures, and the Democrats would not allow Republicans in to witness the counting, which right there is suspicious, because everywhere around the country expect both sides to have access to the counting process to make sure nothing funny happens.
Sure.
No ballots get slipped in. So it looks like it's going to be mired in lawsuits. I think once they do a count, if they do a count, they're probably going to continue to sue no matter who wins, who loses, countersuits. So this may go on for a long time. And something similar, although the counting process seems maybe better, is going on in Arizona, and there the Democrats ahead. So we have two outstanding Senate seats, and but both of them are kind of strange because both of them on an election night, the Republicans were ahead, but then other ballots came in later to be counted.
It's very interesting to watch how that process is done. In Florida, they always have their issues. They always like to do their recounts. It's always a very close race down there in Florida for whatever reason. But we did win some really big races down there as well. The governor's race, that was, by a half a point or 1% that we ended up winning?
That's being contested for the same reason right now.
Sure.
They're contesting that too. But it's basically down to a couple of counties like Broward County where the Democrats own the place. They have the seats and they control the process, and then they don't follow state law. So I don't know what will happen. Some people have suggested maybe Broward County should be just disqualified, because how do you count ballots that have been come mysteriously into the process, that have been opened without anyone seeing them, don't know if they've been tampered with?
Sure.
Do you do a whole new election? Do you throw out that election and force the county to revote? Or do you just disqualify it and say, well, we'll count the rest of the votes in Florida that seem to be normal?
It's very close, and it's very interesting to watch. Again, I don't know what to do with that. As you mentioned, maybe it's a recount that you, re-verify everybody before the actual ballot's counted. But it's going to be a long process. Regardless, as a whole, though, on election night, the House ends up turning blue. The Senate ends up going a little bit farther to the right with a few more seats, and potentially between what we hear in Arizona and in Florida.
And more conservative, too.
And more conservative, exactly. Your predictions that you made with your latest books and talking about the midterm elections, did it come true? Is it still up in the air? I mean, what happened compared to what you thought was going to happen?
Well, I got 96% of the House seats right, which, normally is an A. It's usually a good score. And in the Senate, I got 88% right. But, of course, the Senate is still up in the air somewhat. The House, though, changed hands, which I didn't predict. I predicted conservative red wave, which means we were going to take the House and the Senate. When I say we, I'm talking about, conservatives.
Sure.
And it didn't turn out that way. But yet I only had 4% wrong, and it was enough to turn the House around. And I had to start looking at the data. I'm in the process of trying to analyze what happened. It looks to me like three factors. Number one, in the House seats, people were just overwhelmingly outspent by the Democrats. Now, a few billionaires contributed to that, but just somehow they came up with an enormous amount of money, sometimes 3, 4 more times the opponent. And that means they get outspent on ads, they get outspent on getting their message out. The second thing was the message. Many of them ran on being someone that would work with Trump. And the voters liked hearing that. Oh, yeah, this one, for example, South Carolina's 1st district used to be Republican, now Democrat, or the incoming person's Democrat. He said he was going to work with Trump. Okay, well, so he out-Trumped the Republican. That's kind of a strange way to win. But then, chances are he's going to be voting for impeachment.
Right.
So in some ways it may be disingenuous on their part, or other people just say dishonest, to say you're supporting the president when in reality you hope to impeach him. And the third thing is it could be the House was punished by the electorate. You remember when George Bush said no new taxes and he didn't win re-election?
Right.
And it could be similar. They campaigned, many of them, on we will repeal and replace Obamacare, and they couldn't get it done. And there were other issues where they did not support the president. There were too many establishment, old-school type Republicans, the John Kasich type people, the John McCain type people, and others who just didn't support the president. And I think in some ways this was a house cleaning where a lot of those people saw the handwriting on the wall and didn't run again. It was about 45 Republicans who chose not to run. Some of them retired, some of them did other stuff. That's a lot of incumbents to lose, plus the money making. They're able to raise money, incumbents.
Sure.
And so it could very well be that the electorate said, you didn't do your job, we're not going to vote for you no matter what. And if some Democrat comes along and says, we're going to support Trump, that's good enough. They'll take their word because they didn't believe Republicans because the Republicans didn't live up to their previous word. And I remember in 2017 when the House was not supporting the president, people then, conservatives, were saying, there may be a price to pay in the next House election. Well, that's the funny thing. The forecast models showed conservatives were out there, and the assumption was they were going to vote Republican, but some of them voted Democrat.
Sure.
That's why it's a hard election to understand.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the issues mentioned. I mean, a 4% margin of error on your end where you ended up losing only 4%, but at the same time we swung the House. More conservatives that are in there, which is nice. But here's the big question, and you teased it a little bit. Do you think that the House of Representatives will try the impeachment process? I saw a story earlier this morning that said that they're actually going to stray away from that a little bit because they're looking further down the road to beat him in 2020 and to gain more of an advantage in the elections 2 years from now in the House and some seats in the Senate as well. But that way, they look like they're bipartisan. They look like they're working. They look like they actually have an agenda other than just, we hate Donald Trump and we're going to do whatever we can to repeal him.
No, I think they're going to do everything they can to impeach him. And I also think they're planning right now to open a number of investigations, including trying to go after that Russian collusion that goes nowhere after $38 million and about 2 years of effort. I think they're going to do that to try to basically stain him and hurt him as much as they can because they're hoping to get one of their people in as president. And along the lines of 2020, let me say a few things. First, I think the House will flip back to conservative. I think this was house cleaning and that a lot of people were ousted who did not live up to their word, who were Republicans. And they're no longer in the House or the coming House in January. Mm-hmm. And I think that the electorate has not changed. Sure. There's a conservative trend, and they're going to vote conservative. But the funny thing is the Democrats sounded more conservative than some of the Republicans. Plus, they had the big bucks from the big billionaires to help get that message out that they were pro-Trump.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be obvious when they start attacking Trump constantly, investigating him for everything, going after his tax return. They're looking for anything, they're fishing. And I think
they're
when
desperate. That's what they are. They're desperate.
Yeah, well, they are desperate. But I think they're gonna lose the House in 2020, and I also think there's no way they're going to beat Trump. And I also want to comment on Hillary Clinton because there's an article by some of her supporters in the Wall Street Journal today that says she's going to run. I've been saying for a long time now she's definitely running, but I also think she's not going to be nominated despite her friend's Wall Street Journal op-ed piece today. I do not think she's going to get the nomination. I think too many Democrats are afraid she'll lose it again. And by the way, if she did run, she'd lose it again.
Oh, yeah, she would. I mean, I think she's done it. I think even her supporters realize that she can't win anymore, that she's old news. And they're looking for a new, fresh face in the Democrat Party. We got about a minute left here. Gerard Lamiero, greatnewsforamerica.com. His book, More Great News for America and Great News for America. Who do you think, I know it's a little early out, but who do you think the prediction's going to be the Democratic nominee in 2020?
This will surprise you. I don't think there's going to be a Democratic nominee.
You don't think so?
I think there's a good chance the party will shut down. But if my guess was right, it'd be Mitt Romney.
As the Democrat?
Yeah, or as a Republican progressive who runs on a new party, a Republican progressive party, because he's been anti-Trump from the get-go.
Sure.
And the Democrats, they're all a bunch of people that can't win.
Sure.
I mean, Joe Biden, it's like who would get the lowest number of votes, among the group.
Yeah.
A lot of the younger folks think they're dinosaurs. They think, people like Pelosi shouldn't even be in office.
Yeah, but at the same time, they love Bernie Sanders. I mean, he's just the hip retro thing right now.
He can't get nominated or elected, unless he runs against Hillary. He could beat Hillary, but that's about it.
That's about it. I love it. Gerard Lamiero, greatnewsforamerica.com. You're going to have some blogs and some writings coming out regarding the midterms and kind of a recap on that. We'll look forward to seeing those. We're going to get you back on the show again real soon here, because as we go into the next 2 years, not only what the agenda is going to be in Congress, which will be kind of fascinating to watch, but then going into the 2020 election will be fun as well. Gerard, it's always a pleasure to get you on the show, my friend. We'll do it again here real soon.
Great to be with you. Have a great show. And, of course, Kansas is a wonderful state.
Absolutely. It is the best around here. Appreciate that very much. Gerard Lamiero, greatnewsforamerica.com. 23 minutes past the hour. We'll take a break. Open lines to you. We got some calls sitting there. Don't go anywhere. It's open lines as soon as we come back right here on The Voice of Reason.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Every day, more personal medical devices, especially pacemakers and insulin pumps, go online. The big question, can they be hacked? Kim Komando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the most innovative and comprehensive wireless protection for your home. Visit simplysafekim.com. Putting life-saving personal medical devices, such as pacemakers and drug infusion pumps online, does save lives. Doctors can know almost instantly if something's going wrong with their patients. Security experts who have tested most of these devices say that so far we've been lucky. All these wireless devices have huge vulnerabilities to hacking. Now, so far, there are no known incidents of hackers getting into a pacemaker or a pump. There's nothing that actually is keeping someone from doing it, though. The manufacturers know, but have been slow to react. So the FDA is now officially involved, and the stakes are very high. Patients should speak with their physicians about this. I'm Kim Komando.
Emergencies such as financial crises or natural disasters happen frequently, often with no warning. Creating peace of mind in times of uncertainty is imperative for every family. That's why Kim recommends the Commando Kit, a complete 5-day supply for one person of emergency eat-on-the-go, no-prep food that includes gear for emergency power and water. It's the only emergency kit with the Kim Komando label of trust. It's certified to quality survival standards and is only available at beprepared.com/Kim. This comprehensive survival kit comes ready to use in a tactical survival backpack to comfortably carry all of these essentials. When you purchase the Commando Kit, you'll receive $50 off the regular price, plus get a free solar-powered combo flashlight, lantern, and phone charger. Don't wait. Be prepared. Order today at beprepared.com/Kim. beprepared.com/Kim. That's beprepared.com/Kim.
Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. Time to load up and head to Mound Ridge for the Christmas Arts and Craft Fair, Saturday, November 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greer Auditorium. November 17th, 9 to 2 for the Mound Ridge Christmas Arts and Craft Fair.
This is Brian Davis from Davis Liquor Outlet.
And this is Blake Davis. We finally made it, the tail end of one year.
And the preparations for a new year.
At Davis Liquor Outlet, we know this is the time for gatherings.
And our 4 Wichita locations take pride in being your headquarters for adult beverages.
Whether seeking something to give as a gift upon arrival,
or stocking your bar for gatherings at your place,
look no further than Davis Liquor Outlet.
Monthly specials.
Coupons online at davisliquoroutlet.com.
And each store is independently owned and operated. Davis Liquor Outlet.
Don't miss more ways to save on a new Bobcat compact track loader at White Star Machinery. Choose a cash rebate up to $10,000 or take advantage of 0% financing for 60 months with no payments for 90 days with approved credit. Put built tough, priced right Bobcat equipment to work and get peace of mind with our 2-year, 2,000-hour full warranty. Why wait? Start saving today. Check it out on our website, whitestarmachinery.com.
White Star, get the job done.
Christmas is coming and the goose is getting fat. Time to load up and head to Mound Ridge for the Christmas Arts and Craft Fair, Saturday, November 17th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Greer Auditorium. November 17th, 9 to 2 for the Mound Ridge Christmas Arts and Craft Fair.
Twenty-seven minutes past the hour. Don't worry, I have not forgotten either, but stay tuned in for the next half hour as we do our KQAM Turkey Drop presented by Yoder Meats. 3 locations in Wichita, 1 in Yoder. We'll be doing that here in just a bit, so don't go anywhere for that. But it is open lines to you at 316-721-8255. And let's go to it. Line number 1. Good morning. What's your name? Hello.
Hey, this is Fred.
Hey, Fred. How you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing good, and even though we have 3 inches of global warming all around us here. So,
global warming and white supremacy, right? Yeah.
Oh, I guess so, something like that. I don't know. But I was calling to reply to Scumbag Trash that called in earlier, and, he was too ignorant to engage on the merits of his assertions regarding the application of asylum law. It was just ridiculous. But, even a single digit nitwit such as Scumbag Trash, should know that every single word of U.S. code is subject to interpretation by our liberal courts. I mean, it's just the way it is.
And the sad thing is that the progressives know that, which is why when they already tried to challenge in court the fact that President Trump wants to say, you know what, if you come here illegally, then you're not going to have a chance to get the asylum. You need to come through the process legally. As we read the code, and to me, I don't know how you can interpret it any other way that if you apply and you and you meet the requirements and you go through the procedures established by the Secretary of Homeland Security or the Attorney General, and if you go through that, then you have no problem. If you cross the border illegally, then you probably don't go through the process or have applied or actually went through the procedures or met the requirements as stated. So I don't know how there's an interpretation issue there about just allowing anybody to do what they want to.
Well, yeah, and 80% that actually of the 20% that actually show up in court are their asylum is found to have no merit.
Sure.
So that's the way it is. But second, I did want to say that since he wanted to apply this nasty moniker to our president, that I'm going to apply a nasty moniker to our ex-president, and I'm going to call him Marxist eunuch Obama, because we've always suspected that Marxist eunuch Obama is a bit light in the loafers, especially after he offered himself to Putin on that open mic to Medvedev before his 2012 election, and he stated in his book that he was in love with a male professor and wanted to have sex with him. Well, now it's confirmed, in Muchel's book, that Marxist eunuch Obama can't get it up, and their children.
I don't know if I want to go down that road. And Fred, we're out of time here. I gotta cut the. Stay on the line. I tell you, stay on the line for a second. But look, I'm not a name caller. I don't like to go down that road. But the other side, they like to call names, which is why it's okay for them to name call President Donald Trump. Stay here. We got lots more coming up.
From the Big Talker, KQAM.
3 major wildfires continue to burn in California. Over 30 people killed, hundreds are missing. Authorities have called in teams from a DNA lab to help identify victims. The Camp Fire in Northern California has decimated the town of Paradise.
This is nothing like what we've had before, but here you're looking at 90% of the homes are gone in every single neighborhood.
Jody Jones is the Paradise mayor. She says the speed and ferocity of the fire only gave the town 5 minutes to evacuate. The mass exodus caused gridlock on the main road out of town. There was such panic, some drivers abandoned their cars as they tried to flee on foot.
Nick Valencia reporting. All of Florida's 67 counties have until Thursday to finish recounting votes in the state's razor-thin margin in the race for governor and Senate. Broward County experienced problems with a recount machine yesterday. I'm John Trout.
Dell's Black Friday sale for small business is on. Save up to 50% with massive deals on office essentials like computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and the latest servers. Even other top brand electronics are on sale. Plus, get free shipping on everything. Quantities are limited. Dell's small business technology advisors can help you find the right tech for your business needs at Black Friday prices. Just call 877-BUY-DELL or visit Dell.com/SB Black Friday. That's 877-BUY-DELL.
In a world where dynamic design meets vibrant styling, only one vehicle will rise. Introducing the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. From the engineers who brought you available Super All-Wheel control comes a touchpad controller, head-up display, and more. Audiences and critics agree with 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. The Eclipse Cross is a must-see. Now showing at a Mitsubishi Motors dealership near you.
Offer ends 11/30/18. Available through Ally Financial. Subject to approved credit and insurance. Price, terms, vehicle availability may vary. May not combine with factory cash rebates. See a dealership for details.
Kansas Mid-America Network News. Good Monday. Well, the first real taste of winter has come to the Sunflower State over the weekend. Schools in Garden City and a handful of surrounding communities closed today because of snowfall. Also some late starts out in western Kansas. Forecasters say the snow that's moved into the area should be pretty much moved out by about midday. Democratic wins in state elections could lead to relaxed marijuana laws, tightened gun laws, and expanded health care coverage in some states. Democrats who gained full control of a half-dozen state legislatures and governor's offices in Tuesday's elections already are making plans for an aggressive agenda. But overall, Republicans still control more states. The number of states nationwide with split partisan control is near its 60-year low point. And many city and county offices across the state closed in observance of Veterans Day. Mid-America Network News.
Authentic menu items prepared fresh 7 days a week. And recipes with a deep family heritage of excellence. Those are just two of the ingredients that make La Hacienda Restaurant the best of the best when it comes to real taste of Mexico. Conveniently located in West Wichita at 5905 West Kellogg, La Hacienda is proud to be this year's host of the Bishop Carroll Coaches Show, Monday evenings from 6 to 7. Daily menu or drink specials and dinner-friendly hours beginning at 11 a.m. daily. The real taste of Mexico, La Hacienda, 5905 West Kellogg.
There it is, Black Friday, and I know everybody has a sale. But at Rusty Eck Ford, our sales are always bigger. Now through November 30th, get up to 30% off a new Ford Focus. Ford Escape, 25% off, or choose 0% for $72 and $1,000 back. F-150 XLTs up to 25% off, or our exclusive 0 for $72. So come gobble up the savings at Rusty Eck Ford. If you don't come and see us today, we can't save you any money.
Having problems with your truck or trailer? MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Mound Ridge, Kansas is here to help. Get reliable trailer and truck repair services when you need it the most from technicians who have your best interest in mind. MJ's Truck Repair ASE certified technicians have years of experience in handling repair problems of all types. And MJ's does their work at competitive prices that won't burn a hole in your pocket. MJ's Truck Repair of Mound Ridge.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM for this morning. 50-50 chance of snow before lunch. Mostly cloudy and 30. Blustery with wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy but clearing. Low 14. Wind gusts up to 20 miles an hour. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 8:35, it's currently 29 degrees.
Waking up the right way.
I look forward to listening to you every morning when I get ready for work.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Welcome back into the Voice of Reason. Wrapping up the program today on a Monday. It's great to have you for the ride, even with the holiday today, the federal holiday that is, even though yesterday was technically the holiday with Veterans Day. And it's a significant one this year as well. We need to remember 1918 was the big one. We are officially 100 years. Can you at 100 years? And we've forgotten all about this stuff. We've forgotten all about what we fought for. We've forgotten all about the purpose of the memorial and celebrating veterans, past and present, and remembering the meaning of these holidays. It is so important to remember. And 100 years ago is when everything went down with World War I, the trench warfare, the terrible, horrible situation that everybody had to live in, fighting for something. And now what do? We've forgotten all about it, and we embrace socialism. We embrace ideas that are bad, that are detrimental, that are dangerous to society. And we have a group, a sect of the nation that actually embraces this. And I just don't understand how in just a short 100-year period, we have already forgotten the purpose of why we fought in World War I, the purpose of why we fought in World War II. I did love, and hopefully you got to see one, or at least grab one throughout the day over the weekend and yesterday, but got to grab the poppy seed. Still a really fascinating story with the poppy seed if you've never heard that, and why they hand out the little red flower. The veterans out there at the gas stations, the grocery stores, handing those out. If you've never heard that story, and it came from World War I and the trench warfare and all the blood that was in the soil and the iron that was in the soil killed off any type of vegetation or growth except for the poppy seed. And the poppy seed plant grew because of the iron that was in the soil from all the blood that was being spilt from the trench warfare. And it was a symbol of the beauty in a terrible, horrible situation in hell that it was, and the one sign of beauty that was there that was nice, that was calming, that was peaceful, that was beautiful with that poppy seed plant that was growing. And kind of a fascinating story as we remember 100 years ago in World War I and what happened. This day in history, meaning yesterday, November 11th, 1918, World War I ends. And that's a kind of a significant thing that led on to World War II, unfortunately, thereafter. Is kind of an ongoing deal. But World War I was a terrible, horrible ordeal. And we got to remember our veterans, past and present, today and yesterday and all weekend long, and really every day throughout the year, but especially during this time to really take some time to sit back, reflect, remember not only what they've gone through and what they've done, but how we can help them in today's times. Open line to you at 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. Our last caller, I appreciate it. Look, again, I'm not one of those that's a name caller. I don't like to call names. Apparently, the caller in the previous hour that tried to say that I've done name calling, I don't know. I don't call you a name. I call you what you believe in, a progressive, a liberal, a Democrat. I mean, those, to me, it's somewhat of a derogatory name because I'm not a progressive or a liberal, and I don't care to be, nor would I like to be associated with that. But many people are, and they embrace it. But it's not a derogatory name. It's just a description of what many believe in. And if that's what you're referring to, but at the same time, then, saying white trash president and so on and so forth, it's just, if you're going to be upset about name calling, then don't do any name calling. But appreciate the last caller as very fired up, and we love that. Let's go back to the phone tier line. Number one, good morning. What's your name?
Hi, Andy. This is Helen.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm doing just great.
Good.
And in spite of the snow.
Yes, absolutely.
But this has been a very interesting conversation going on on your show. As a lot of interesting conversations. And regarding this guy that thinks it's okay for illegal immigrants to invade our nation, it says in Section 9 of Article 1, it says the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. So we have a right to defend our nation, for crying out loud.
We do, and they don't see the reason for it. They see it as not as an invasion, but as poor, innocent people just coming here wanting to make their life better. But you're right, when they break through the gates of Mexico, when they're throwing rocks at helicopters, when they're destroying property, when they're disregarding the rule of law of the current nation that they're in as they're traveling through and doing their thing, as they go through all of this, it shows that they don't have a whole lot of interest in actually wanting to become law-abiding citizens of the nation that they want to reside in, but they want to do it for their own accord. When they're funded and organized by a political organization called Citizens for Open Borders, then we know that they have a specific political agenda, when some of them have already tried to create a lawsuit for violation of their constitutional rights, even though they're not citizens. They've never set foot on American soil, that apparently now we've violated their constitutional rights. You know that they don't have the best intent for the nation.
No, they do not. And the Lord God gives us the right to defend ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the children of Judah that rebuilt the wall in Jerusalem, they all had swords.
Sure.
Just like the disciples of the Lord, Jesus Christ, they all had swords to defend themselves. They knew it was a dangerous, violent environment that they lived in.
Sure.
And regarding Miss Laura Kelly, she hasn't even been sworn into oath yet.
Yeah, but remember, now that she is governor, then the grass will be a little bit greener, the global warming will subside and be no longer, and the economy will tick up just because she is in office, and everything will be sunshine and roses and daisies because now she is the leader of Kansas, and she will reverse the brownback policies.
Oh, so is that why we have snow?
Ah, yeah, see, maybe she's contributed to the white supremacy a little bit. I don't know. There it is. Helen, I appreciate it. Happy Monday to you. Stay warm today, as it is supposed to be cold all day long. I do find that kind of entertaining. I mean, come on, if we're gonna, if they want to accuse us, let's just embrace it and have some fun with it, right? Because we know it's completely ridiculous and absurd. 316-721-8255, line number 2. Let's go back to the phone, shall we? Good morning. What's your name? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, how we doing?
Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name's Phil.
Good morning, Phil.
Getting back to the immigration,
mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that nobody has even mentioned this, but, we have precedent about immigration, about what could happen at the border.
Sure.
Number one is these people are invading, correct?
Well, yeah, in a way they are.
Okay, all right, like a foreign army, correct?
Sure.
But they are not in uniform, are they?
They are not.
And what happens to when we grab these kind of people? What do we do with them?
Well, if it's an asylum seeker and they go through the regular process...
No. What kind of precedent have we been doing in other places when somebody fights against us and is not in uniform?
Well, we consider it guerrilla warfare.
No. You're way off base. We have this place we send them, and where do we send them?
Well, that's not going to happen, though.
Why not?
Because, again, the progressives, the Democrats...
Wait. Hold on. You're still getting ahead of us. Where do we send them?
Well, we should send them to prison.
No. Where have we been sending them?
Where have we sent them?
Think about overseas. Think about the Taliban. Where do we send them when we get them? Capture them.
Where have we sent them?
Ever heard of a place called Gitmo?
Okay. Well, prisoners of war in that sense.
Okay. Gitmo. And all Trump has to do is just say that that's where they're going to go.
Yeah, but again, that's not going to happen. I mean, whether it's...
Well, wait a minute. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. The threat.
Sure.
He does a lot of threatening.
Well, that's true.
And it seems to have, results.
Here's what it comes down to. And you're right. I mean, I would like to see a threat like that come out. I would like us to say, and he's already tried to make the threat of just saying, if you cross the border illegally, instead of going through the asylum process like you say you want to, then you won't have the opportunity to get asylum because you've already broken law. And they're already challenging that in court. If he makes a threat like that, then they'll, of course, stop that in court as well. And just as they're doing right now is that there's going to be some federal judge that comes out somewhere that says, oh, no, you're not allowed to make a claim like this and say that they don't have status. And just as they make that, then we challenge it, but that's going to be the active status at the time. Right at the same time, the caravan actually reaches the border. And then you're going to see them trying to flood in. And instead of us actually using the military to suppress that from crossing the border, they're going to come in, yell out the code word of asylum, and then they get protected. And then we bring them back in, and we feed them, and we house them, and we educate them, and we put them in the rooms, and then we start going through the process. It's going to take a really long time to do, but we're never going to be able to imprison them, and we will never ship them back to where they came from.
Well, I think, there's different ways you can approach that, and, there's a lot of ways you can approach that and face up to it. But I'm just saying there's different ways that they haven't even thought of yet, and that's what they should be focusing on as far as, Trump and his administration.
Sure. Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen.
Well, no, who knows? But I like your thought process. I mean, definitely scare them and throw it out there just to show what could potentially happen if they violate U.S. law. And you're right, as a caravan, we've already mentioned as well, too, the number of people that have tried to cross the border on a regular basis, jumping the fence and getting caught to doing so. It's already still happening, but this one being the big media attention, maybe we show our force in that sense as well. Phil, I appreciate the call very much, and happy Monday to you. It is something that, you could throw it out there, but it's realistically not going to happen unless you're just using it as a scare tactic. But again, they don't see it as an invading force. They see it as a group of people saying, oh, we're so innocent and precious. Let us break through the walls of Mexico, break through the gates, throw rocks at helicopters, attack the police and the military down there, allow at least 100 different ISIS members to be able to infiltrate and run with the caravan. But we're innocent. We're poor. Please come and take care of us. I don't understand, especially with the Central American countries. Some of them are very much dictatorships. Many of them still have elections, and they vote for either socialism or fascism, and they kind of bounce back and forth between the two, whether they let everything be corporatized and have crony capitalism through the government, or then they socialize everything and make everything go through the government altogether, which there's really no big difference there. But then they blame it, and then they claim refugee status and asylum seeking because their country's so terrible. Why don't they get off that bandwagon? They stop using the funds that they've had from Russia so long ago and from the Soviet Union, and they start thinking for themselves, and maybe they could clean up their own country and they wouldn't need to come here. That's a thought process, isn't it? But again, this is a political movement from an organization called Citizens Without Borders, and they feel that they can just walk anywhere they want to and no one can tell them otherwise, which is who's actually orchestrating this movement up here from up to the border. Let's go back to the phones here. Line number 3. Good morning. What's your name? Hello.
Hello, my name is Catherine.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Oh, pretty good.
Good.
Hey, just to let you know that I have relatives who live in Mexico, and they understand the difference between the English words legal and illegal. I tell people that. The other thing, and it's been well documented by congressional reports, PBS shows and exposés and other sources, that there are militant Middle East terror groups actively involved in Mexico and Central America, and they've been secretly working with the drug cartels.
Sure.
They've also been crossing over the U.S.-Mexico border. I used to live in New Mexico, near Albuquerque, and sure enough, probably once a week or so, you'd hear a report of a Muslim terrorist who did get caught, and they would have sometimes bomb materials or some weapons or things with them. So things like this are just somehow now not being addressed, and we know, of course, by the mainstream news media. But the citizens need to remind our congressional people and the news media of these publicly available sources, like the congressional report on the Muslim terror threat. It's entitled "A Line in the Sand" from a few years ago.
Sure. No, that's very true. I appreciate that very much. It's funny how you're right. They actually do understand the differences. They do understand what's right and what's wrong, but yet there is look, it's not just a whim of people just wanting to be innocent. Oh, it's innocence and we need to take care of and we need to just do this and make a little better lives for ourselves. There are some, but they have to have some kind of organization behind them in order to push them to make them cross the border illegally. And again, there's nothing wrong with us protecting our own borders. All right, I'm clearing the lines. We had a couple other calls. I apologize for that. I'm clearing the lines because it is time. So I want to make it a fair game here as we go through. And
call now at 721-8255 and guess where your Thanksgiving turkey dropped. Right here on 1480 KQAM.
Yeah, that's right. So here's how it works. We do this all this week and actually a little bit further into November as well. As you call 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. We just cleared all the lines, so it's fair to you to call in right now. And here's how the game works. We have our KQAM Turkey Drop presented by Yoder Meats. 3 locations in Wichita, 1 in Yoder, online as well at yodermeatsks.com. Here's the way it works. We have 3 businesses. We guess, I give you which options they are. You guess which one it lands on. If you win, you get yourself a gift certificate to go to Yoder Meats and choose your own bird, probably still moving to some degree. If not, then we move on to the next caller, and we'll see if they win. This is a fresh turkey, never frozen, from Yoder. I mean, come on, you know the quality of Yoder Meats anyways. We love them, appreciate them for partnering up with us on this, and we do it every single year. So, with that, let's go to the phones at 316-721-8255, and let's see if you have what it takes to win the Thanksgiving turkey from KQAM and Yoder Meats today on a Monday. Line number one. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, Andy.
Hey, good morning. All right. So, how we doing?
We're doing well, thank you. You?
All right. Well, doing good. Are you mad that I still called you names?
No.
Apparently.
No.
I don't remember what I did, but okay. All right. So here it is.
Well, wait a minute. It's as simple as this. You cannot claim asylum unless you're on U.S. soil. You can't enter the U.S. without an entry visa. So it's a catch-22, right or wrong? Okay, now
no, wrong, because there are doors where they say, or where the gate is that says, I want to apply for asylum, and then they lead you into a place to do the promotion. So
yeah, and which is U.S. soil.
Right, but you have to do that
right
with them.
Right then they're in the country illegally.
But they have to
because
accept you in.
They don't have an entry visa.
Right, but they hold you in a certain place. You cannot jump the fence and say, asylum! And we showed that very clearly with the code that you said says allows that to happen. But as we read, it clearly doesn't.
You didn't read the first part. You didn't read the first article, which talks about that. You must be on U.S. soil to claim asylum.
Right, but you have to be invited with the application of, not just crossing it illegally, breaking the law, and then as they catch you.
You can't even turn in your application unless you're on U.S. soil.
You do when you go to the border and you say, hey, I'd like to claim asylum, please. And they say, okay, come on in and let's do that process.
While you're on U.S. soil. It's that simple. Now, let's go on to the turkey drop.
Let's go on to the turkey drop here. And now, this is preordained here. I give you 3 businesses. You choose which one it's going to be, and we'll see whether you win yourself a Thanksgiving bird or not. The choices today are going to be MJ's Truck Repair in Moundridge, Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop, and Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center. Which one, sir, do you believe the turkey's going to drop on today?
Tire. I don't know. Tire.
The Tire. Kennedy Tire and Auto Care Center. Let's go ahead and go to the helicopter. What's that flying high above? Not quite sure. What's dropping down below there? Could it be the winner today?
Oh, no.
Ooh, didn't quite get it there. But now we have a 50-50 chance. Paul, appreciate the call. And try next time. Don't worry. You can try back again the next couple of days and try and get in there. 316-721-8255. Let's go back to it. Here, line number 4. Good morning. What's your name? Nope, I guess we lost it. Give me a call, 316-721-8255. You got a 50-50 chance right now of your turkey drop. Will it be MJ's Truck Repair in Moundridge, Kansas, or Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop? Get the first one back on here, line number 1. Good morning, what's your name? Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how we doing?
I'm doing all right. The Clock Shop.
The Clock Shop. Let's go ahead and try it again, shall we, here as the helicopter flying high above. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. Will the turkey drop on this one today? Or MJ's Truck Repair in Moundridge? What's going to happen? All right. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop is the winner today. Congratulations, my friend. Stay on the line. We'll get your information here in just a second. You yourself won a Thanksgiving turkey. Hat tip to Yoder Meats, presented by KQAM and Yoder Meats, and Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop right here in the Voice of Reason. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. Opening markets on KQAM. Brought to you by Schmidt & Sons of Mount Hope and Winfield.
Mixed in the livestock, mixed in the grains and soybeans. That's the way we're going to start Monday. Let's check the ag futures markets. Brady Charles at Schwieterman Incorporated is along with all the information. Good morning, Brady.
Good morning. Well, we're mixed in the grains and mixed in the livestock here on the open as well, with December live cattle trading down a nickel at 114.52. February's up 17 at 117.95, and April's up a nickel at 120.30. November feeders are down 7 cents at 148.92. January's up 2 cents at 143.82, and March is down 25 at 141.92. December lean hogs are up 42 at 56.20. In the grain markets, December Kansas City wheat's up a penny at 488.5. March is up a penny and a half at 510 3/4, and July's up a quarter cent at 533 3/4. December Chicago wheat's up 4 1/4 at 506.5, and July's up 5 3/4 at 531 3/4. December spring wheat's down a half at 572 3/4. In the corn market, December is steady at 369.5. March is down a quarter at 380 3/4, and July is down 3/4 at 395 1/4. November beans are down 6 1/4 at 869. January is down 6 1/4 at 880 1/4. March is down 6 1/4 at 893 3/4. This has been Brady Charles from Sweeterman Incorporated. For questions on these markets, any other markets, and all your marketing needs, please give us a call at 800-272-9131 or visit us online at upthelimit.com.
Are you ready to maximize your uptime in the field and save 15% while doing it? This is Leroy the Tractor Man from Schmidt & Sons, offering big savings and special discounts until December 31st on all AGCO PM360 maintenance plans. Bring your equipment into Schmidt & Sons for an AGCO PM360 inspection, inspected by our factory-trained certified technicians, and you will receive peace of mind knowing your equipment will operate at peak performance, minimizing costly repairs, increasing uptime, and improving your trade-in value. Plus, repairs done in our service department entitle you to 1-year warranty on parts and 6 months warranty on labor. Right now, the deal is even sweeter because with your inspection, not only can you receive up to 15% off on AGCO parts, with approved credit, you can receive 0% interest and no payments for 180 days on repairs of $1,000 or more. Give us a call at either the Mount Hope or Winfield location to sign up for the AGCO PM360 maintenance inspection and get the peace of mind you need and deserve all season long, or find us on the web at schmittinc.com.
Way to get people riled up all the way at the end of the show there, very much. And hey, you know what? Love it, appreciate it. All the phone calls are lit up, but we're out of time, my friends. It's always a pleasure. We love all the conversation. We'll continue with it tomorrow. Again, just because you have to be on American soil doesn't mean that you have to cross it illegally in order to get the asylum. You ask, and you go at the gate, and you ask. And then that process begins. Not breaking the law, not crossing illegally, and then yelling the safe zone, the safe word, and the special code. Then you're into the club. Doesn't work that way. Sorry. This is your show as always. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is the Voice of Reason. We'll be back on Tuesday. Everybody have a wonderful, cold, wintry, snowy Monday.
Croft Lumber of Heston. Project expertise from start to finish. At Croft Lumber, you'll experience big box store selection with Heston owned and operated pride in serving you, the customer. Quality Anderson and Marvin windows, Anderson and Larson storm doors, the full line of custom kitchen cabinetry from R.D. Henry and Company. And Croft Lumber has the full Milwaukee tool line. Croft Lumber, where service is their specialty and delivery within a 50-mile radius is absolutely free. Croft Lumber of Heston. Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance, because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In El Dorado, call the Insurance Center, Inc. at 267-2467.
Broadcasting from the Rusty Eck Ford Studios. Rusty Eck Ford, the price you need and the service you deserve. This is the Big Talker, 102.5 FM and 1480 AM, KQAM, Wichita proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Augusta Flight Center, with the largest and most diverse fleet of rental aircraft in central Kansas. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Good Monday morning. Wichita police say one person died following a shooting in southeast Wichita early Saturday morning. Police say two people got into a verbal argument in the 2200 block of South Glendale.